Hello and welcome back to another Football Commentaries live stream. Tonight is the Derby della Sole, where Roma take on Napoli in Serie A. Roma, under Jose Mourinho, currently sit in 8th position, but with a win tonight that will put them ahead of tonight's opposition Napoli, who currently take 6th spot in the table. Roma have only managed one win in their last 5, but Napoli fell to an embarrassing cup defeat in the week where they were beaten 4-0 at home to Frosinone, who are currently 14th in the league. The head-to-head record between these two doesn't look great for Roma. They haven't beaten Napoli in the last 7 occasions, and that has included Napoli doing the league double over Roma last season in their title-winning campaign. So for this Saturday night Serie A derby, will it be Roma or Napoli to come through with the victory? It can be a very tasty derby this, and when you've got Jose Mourinho in charge of a team, it feels like every game can turn into a very tense and bitter game. But it'll be a game that Jose Mourinho will be desperate to win for sure, with obviously having quite a poor record against Napoli and more so Roma in terms of playing Napoli in the last couple of seasons. No wins in the last 7 is a pretty poor run. The last win for Roma in this fixture was at home in November 2019. It was a 2-1 win. So they haven't won in this fixture for a very long time. Last season they came close both times. The first one was a 1-0 home defeat back in October last year, an 80th minute winner from Osimhen, and then they lost 2-1 away from home back in January of this year. Osimhen again scoring, and then El Shawari got an assist late on in the 75th minute, and then I'm saying his father's name, Giovanni Simeone, got the winner in that one for Napoli. So even though they did do the league double over them last season, Napoli, they were two close encounters in terms of scoreline, but it is a very different Napoli side this season. They've obviously had a change of manager within the season already. Rudi Garcia came in at the start of the year, didn't get off to a good start at all, and then he was replaced by Walter Mazzarri, who comes in to back to Napoli. He was here for 4 years beforehand, from 2009 to 2013, and now he's back again, and this is his 500th Serie A game as a manager. His first game in this division was in September 2004, so the 62-year-old has got plenty of experience, and he has to try and change the tide here at Napoli, as they are struggling in 6th place at the minute, but 3 points tonight would put them right behind 4th place Bologna, who are currently 4th with 31 points, so they'd go a point behind 4th Napoli, and they'd be 3 points behind 3rd, which is AC Milan, and the top 2 have kind of got a little bit of a gap. Inter Milan won today against Lecce, they're top with 44 points, and then Juventus are 2nd, they also won today with 40 points, so there is a bit of a gap between 2nd and 3rd, but I think the main aim for Napoli this season, with the start they've had, will just be to get top 4 again, get back in the Champions League, and get back challenging next season for the league title if possible. It's been a horrific start. Obviously, Rudi Garcia came in, and he just didn't. The results weren't up to standard. Obviously, they have quite a good. They have quite a lot of expectation after last season, winning their first league title for 33 years, and it's an interesting change of a head coach, bringing in Walter Mazzarri, who hadn't had a club since May 2022. So he's been over a year without a job, and now he's been brought in to try and save Napoli, if possible. We'll have to see if he can do that. In his first few games, it's not been. They've struggled, but they've come up against good opposition. In fairness, in 3 of his 4 games in charge so far, they've played teams who have started in the top 5 in that day. So they won away at Atalanta, and then they've been beaten to Inter Milan at home 3-0, and then away to Juventus. So in 3 of the 4 games they've had in charge, Mazzarri, they have come up against very difficult opposition, and it doesn't get any easier tonight, coming up against Roma, who are doing okay themselves. Their home record is pretty decent. Only the 1 loss at home for Roma this season. That was against AC Milan back at the start of September. But they do come into this game, Roma, off the back of a defeat away from home against Bologna, who's having a fantastic season this year. They currently sit 4th. I think they've also won this weekend already. But yeah, their 2-0 loss meant that they did stumble back down to 8th. But then again, a win for Roma tonight, and they can go right up towards 5th spot. If they win, they'd be 3 points off 5th. So it's very tight within the top 8 in the Serie A. You've got kind of the top 2 on their own, and then you've got third till about eighth, where it's quite close, and anything can change with certain results going certain ways. So I think it's all about getting points on the board for both sides, like it is for every club in a league. But I think especially for both who want to be up there, I don't think either of these teams want to be slipping down. I think it's more so for Roma as well, because since Jose Mourinho has been at the club, he was appointed in July of 2021. They finished sixth, and sixth. That's not great. It's not where Roma want to be. Roma haven't finished inside the top four since the 2017-2018 season when they finished third. So it's been 4 or 5 seasons now of disappointment for Roma, and they've brought in Jose Mourinho, who won them that Conference League title a couple of seasons ago. But I think that if they're honest, I think that's past now. That's gone. They got to the Europa League final last year as well, but they want to be in top four. They want to be in Champions League. Roma, I'm sure of it, and Jose Mourinho needs to try and sort that out as soon as possible. Now 60 years old, Jose Mourinho is turning 61 next month in January. But he has got 2 Serie A titles to his name, Jose Mourinho, back to back with Inter Milan from 2008 to 2010. So he does know how to get up the league in this division. But that Inter Milan team that he had, where he also won the Champions League with them as well, was quite an unreal team. Doesn't quite line up with his Roma team. They're not quite on the same level, but yeah, he needs to get them up the table come the end of this season. I don't think a finish out the top 4 would be a success, and I'm not saying they'd get rid of Jose Mourinho, but there needs to be a new plan of action, because Roma need to get back in that top 4. They can't keep finishing outside of it. They want to be in the Champions League, playing the biggest teams, not in the Conference League or the Europa League. Kickoff is just under 5 minutes away, so I'm going to go through both teams in a little bit more detail. You can see them on screen now, but we'll start with the Roma team. Just got to switch these sheets around. Sorry. For some reason, I keep thinking Napoli are at home, and I have no idea why, because they're not. It is Roma at home. And yeah, just about the intro of the game as well. This is a derby between these two sides, even though it's a 2.5-hour drive for Napoli fans tonight to get to the Stadio Olimpico. This is called Derby of the Sun in English, or Derby della Sol in Italian, but it's Derby of the Sun in English, and it's about a rivalry that apparently did peak during the 70s and the 80s when Maradona was playing, and that's kind of where it really got heated. Obviously, I don't think any rivalry is as heated as it once was back in the day. That goes for every rivalry. I think a lot of things have calmed down compared to back then, but it's definitely a rivalry that still has that bitterness to this day. And like I say, with Jose Mourinho, he will try and play on that as much as possible, get his team fired up for it with the fact that it is a derby, and we could get a very, very spicy encounter tonight, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't mind the Serie A. It can sometimes be a bit slow, but the quality that is within the league, I think is fantastic. Some of the goals that are scored are really good, and I'm looking forward to this one. This is the last commentary before Christmas. We've got 4 coming up after Christmas and before New Year. It's kind of sandwiched in between. So the next one is on Boxing Day. We are doing Preston at home to Leeds. Then on the 27th, we've got Brentford against Wolves. On the 30th, we've got Celtic against Rangers. And on New Year's Eve, we've got Fulham against Arsenal. So they're the 4 commentaries coming up after Christmas and just in between Christmas and New Year. So make sure you check the channel out for those 4 commentaries coming up. So we'll start with the home side, and that is Roma, and it's got 35-year-old Rui Patricio in goal. It's going to be a back 3 of Gianluca Mancini, Diego Llorente, Ivan Indica as a back 3. On the right-hand side of the wing-backs, it's going to be Rasmus Christensen, who scored an own goal in their last game in their defeat to Bologna in a 2-0 loss. On the left-hand side of the wing-backs, it's going to be Nikola Zalewski, the Polish international. He got an assist in this fixture last season away at Napoli in January. Looks like it's going to be a midfield 3 of Brian Cristante, Leandro Paredes and Eduardo Bove for Roma, and then the 2 up front. It looks like they're going to go for 2 up front, and that is Andrea Bellotti, who's got 3 goals so far this season in the Serie A, his last coming against Cagliari in early October, and alongside him is going to be the 30-year-old on loan from Chelsea, and that is Romelu Lukaku, who's got a decent start to his Roma career so far, but he was absent for the last game against Bologna as he was sent off in their 1-1 draw against Fiorentina. So he's back in the starting 11 tonight. Romelu Lukaku, one of 3 changes made from that last game against Bologna for Roma. And for the away side in Napoli is going to be Alex Mera in goal with Di Lorenzo, Romani, Jesus and Rui making up a back 4. Midfield 3 of Lobotka, Anguissa and Zielinski. And the front 3 is Politano, Kvaratskhelia, and leading the line is number 9, Osimhen, who signed a new contract today, announced today, until 2026 with around 130 million euros release clause in that contract for Osimhen. I'm sure a lot of European teams will be sniffing at that because, with the prices of players these days, that might be a viable purchase for some clubs in Europe, spending that much money on the Nigerian. But we'll wait and see. But it will be Napoli to kick us off, kicking right to left, Roma left to right, in the derby of the sun. Who will come out on top in Serie A tonight? It's 2 teams where they're not where they want to be. Roma in 8th currently, Napoli in 6th after winning the league last season. Let's see who can get the 3 points tonight. As we kick off with Napoli, sending it to the right-hand side towards Anguissa, loses his header to Bove, helped on by Belotti. Halfway lines Lukaku, headed back out to the left looking for Belotti. Poked out a play by Lobotka in the Napoli midfield. And it'll be a throw-in for Roma just inside the opposition half on the far side. And it's going to be Nikola Zalewski with the throw-in. Up towards Lukaku on the edge of the box, chested it down, hooked away by Zielinski for Napoli. Goes right through into the Roma half for Llorente to sweep it back to his goalkeeper, Rui Patricio. And it's the home side with the possession. Portuguese goalkeeper, left-footed, ball forward into the Napoli half, looking for Lukaku, headed away by Rui, only as far as Ndicka, who volleys it forward for Roma, and it goes straight through into the Napoli 18-yard box, the goalkeeper, Alex Merritt. And it'll be the away side now to have a bit of the ball, see if they can keep it for a sustained amount of time here, as Politano goes over on the challenge, and that'll be a free kick for Napoli, given by Andrea Colombo, the referee for tonight's game. Was actually the referee for one of the last commentaries we did on Napoli when they were beaten at home to Lazio by 2-1 in early September. And he's also refereed Roma this season in their 2-1 home win against Lecce in November. There's a ball down the right-hand side for Napoli, cut out by Paredes. It's now Ndicka who overruns it, and it's taken off him by Politano, but the heavy touch from the winger can be seen out for a throw-in by Ivan Ndicka. And there is Walter Mazzari, the Napoli head coach, in charge of his 500th game in charge in Serie A. Great record for the 62-year-old head coach. It's on the far side in the left-back area. It's going to be a Roma throw-in. Down the line it goes towards Lukaku, who flicks it on, picked up by Zielinski for Napoli, and it's inside their own half here with left-back and number 6, Mario Rui, who's back in tonight after being on the bench in their last game against Cagliari, which was a 2-1 win for Napoli. Kvaratskhelia with the winner in the 75th minute. That's Di Lorenzo, the right back, 1-2 with Anguissa. Trying to charge forward here, Di Lorenzo, tackled by Bove. It's now Paredes, out to the right-hand side to Lukaku. Flag stayed down. The Belgian's got Christensen to his right, overlapping from wing-back. He'll try and play it into the path of the Danish wing-back, but he's strongly tackled there by Mario Rui. And that'll be a throw-in for the away side. Last nick came off Christensen, who was trying to charge forward. The man on loan from Leeds, Rasmus Christensen, as Rui did go in strong there, but he did win the ball as Rui wins another throw-in for his side. Midway side of the Napoli half on this near side, where Jose Mourinho stood about 10 yards away from him in the Roma technical area. As here is the left-back Rui. Into the defensive third here to Juan Jesus, who tries to spin in clear, but he's got Lukaku on him as he does get it down the line, but then Rui's tackled by Christensen, and that's a late one. And the referee's on the scene quickly. So Christensen putting a late one there on Rui, when Rui just put a late one there on Christensen. So Rui and Christensen just letting each other know that they're there. What's your honest prediction on this game? Roma are at home. They've been good at home. They don't lose very often at home, Roma, this season anyway. Napoli not doing that great. I'm going to draw. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. I'm going to go for goals. 2-2 draw I'm going to go for. As it's with the goalkeeper Merritt from that free kick. Clears it with his left boot up towards the halfway line. Flicked on by Osimhen. Kvaratskhelia will chase it, but Ndicka will get there first and goes back to Patricio in the 6-yard box. First time pass to the right to Mancini. Goes down by Osimhen. Gets it down the right-hand side to Christensen. It's now forward down the right-hand side. It's a misplaced pass there from Bove, the Roma midfielder. sorry, Diego Llorente was the one who misplaced the pass there. And it'll be a throw-in. And it's back in the Napoli possession in their own half here with number 13, Emir Romani. Signed a new 4-year contract in May to keep his stay at the club till 2027. The Kosovo centre-half. It's now with left-back Rui. Lifted ball down the left-hand side, up towards Anguissa. Headed forward by Llorente, helped on by Cristante. Now in the Napoli half, Roma can build. Cristante's got Zalewski to his left. He'll play it to him, and then he's tackled from behind by Politano. And it'll be cleared by Meret first time. Up towards Osimhen, loses out to Ndicka. Osimhen goes down, but the referee tells him to get back up, and Roma will play on. Cristante forward to Lukaku. Heavy touch cleared by Romani on the edge of the box. Headed to the right by Mancini. Brought down by Karsdorp. By Christensen, as Osimhen has stayed down here. I think he's holding his stomach. Be interested to see where he's felt this pain. And Ndicka went in strong on him, and I don't really see anything that wrong about the challenge. Obviously, he must have been caught in the stomach for him to stay down the way he has. I think Napoli might slip a lucky 1-0 win. Let's hope for more goals, but I think it's a reasonable prediction. There's Osimhen. He's just getting back to his feet here after a little bit of a elbow in the stomach there by Ivan Ndicka. Didn't look like much, in fairness, from the Ivorian centre-half on the Nigerian striker. So it'll be a drop ball in the centre circle for Paredes. So Roma can continue with the possession of the ball. And he goes back here to the central centre-half in the back three, and that is Diego Llorente. He's looking for a pass, goes to his right here to Mancini. The captain tonight, as Pellegrini, the usual captain, is on the bench for Roma. Lifted ball up towards Lukaku, flicked on towards Belotti. It'll go through to Bove, who can't quite get away from Lobotka. The midfielder pokes it back to the goalkeeper, but the play's been pulled back here by the referees. It looks like he's given a free kick for Roma. As the ball went through towards Lukaku, that was fair. And then Belotti, just a little bit of a pull by Romani, maybe. So it's a free kick for Roma. I think it was that challenge by Romani on Belotti. Just a little bit of a pull there. Bit of a soft one, in fairness. I don't think Roma were asking for it, which is a rarity. They usually ask for everything, this Roma side. Did you watch the Liverpool game? I did watch the Liverpool game. Watched parts of it, in fairness. I was preparing for this game when the game was on, so I can't say I watched it properly, in fairness. But it was a great goal from Salah. It was a good header as well, to be fair, from Gabriel. But it seemed like in the second half, neither team wanted to lose the game, which is a bit of a shame. It can cause stalemates, which it did in that one. As Paredes will put this free kick in. It was a free kick with power, and it can be headed away by Zielinski. And it's a throw-in on this near side for Roma, right next to the corner flag. So Rasmus Christensen will come over to take it here. I think he has a longer throw-in, so as he just dries this ball with his shirt, it looks like he might try and launch the throw-in into the 18-yard area, and he will do so, in towards the near post. Cristante flicks it on, overhead kick attempt from Zalewski, goes well wide and cleared in the end by Di Lorenzo, headed back forward by Ndicka into the 18-yard area, headed away by Juan Jesus. And it's now Christensen, whose header comes off the head of Osimhen, and he'll dribble out here for another throw-in for Roma, inside the Napoli half on this near side. Again, being observed, Christensen, by Jose Mourinho, as another long throw-in is headed behind Juan Jesus, and it'll go into the hands of Alex Meret, and it'll be Napoli just to have some breathing space here. It's been Roma in the ascendancy in this last couple of minutes. As Meret plays it out to the right back, Di Lorenzo. Goes for a switch with his left foot. It's a nice ball out to Rui, who latches onto the pass, takes on Christensen. Rui with another switch out to the right-hand side to Politano. Good football here from Napoli as they're into the Roma half. Di Lorenzo overlaps. Politano will feed it to him. Di Lorenzo cuts it back. Can't quite get the contact on it. Cleared at the near post by Ndicka to keep it away from Osimhen. But good football there from Napoli. Couple of switches there. Found some space on the right-hand side. Just wasn't a strong enough cut back there from Di Lorenzo. He likes to get forward from right back, the Napoli captain. It's Mario Rui on this near side, getting forward from left back for Napoli, playing it through, looking for Kvaratskhelia, cut out by Christensen. Napoli back on the ball, and it's straight back to Napoli as Roma give it away. Christensen's pass in the midfield, intercepted by Ngisa. It's now back with the away side in their home kit tonight. In the final third here, on the right-hand side with Politano. Goes back here to Di Lorenzo. Forward to Anguissa. Back out to the right to Politano. One-on-one with Zalewski. Wanting to get onto his stronger left foot. Instead goes on the right foot. Right on this corner flag here. He's shielding the ball. And the last touch comes off Zalewski. It'll be a throw for Napoli right next to the corner flag here on the far side. Some good battle in there between Zalewski and Politano. Politano, by the way, the Napoli right winger tonight, was born in Rome. Was at the club for 12 years during his youth time, but never made a senior appearance. So here goes the throw-in. Di Lorenzo has a long one of his own, but as the throw-in is taken, the referee pauses play here. The referee tonight, Andrea Colombo, just wants a word here with Diego Llorente and Victor Osimhen. But Osimhen's not happy with some of the words coming out of the mouth of, I think it's Mancini, maybe, the Roma captain. I think the referee's just telling him to relax a little bit. I've got Napoli to win on my accumulator. Right, that makes sense for your 1-0 Napoli prediction. I understand that one now. Di Lorenzo throws it short this time. Just backwards to Lobotka. Then to Di Lorenzo again. Down the line to Politano in that final third. Trying to take on Paredes. Does find a pass to Anguissa. Back heels it to Politano. He's got a chance to try and shoot. Blocked by Bove. Drops to Paredes in the left-back area as the flag goes up for an offside. Roma can relax on the ball now with a free kick. Not quite sure who was offside there, in all honesty. But the flag went up and it's a free kick for Roma. I think Roma will get today. I think the home advantage definitely helps Roma in this circumstance. Like I say, only one loss at home in 8 this season in the Serie A against AC Milan in early September. As Cristante flicks on that free kick, it's only fell to the feet of Rui, who volleys it away for Napoli. Down the left-hand side, Osimhen will chase it, headed away by Llorente, straight out for a throw-in midway side the Roma half for Napoli, taken quickly by Kvaratskhelia. Throws it back to Rui, switches it to the right-hand side to Di Lorenzo, the right-back. Midway side the Roma half on the far side this time, it's Politano on the ball, who goes back to the halfway line to right back Di Lorenzo. It's now Romani, the centre-back, being chased down by Belotti, so forced back to his goalkeeper here, Merritt, who plays a low ball to the left-hand side to Rui, the left-back. Lifts it down the line. 1-2 is Zielinski. Then the ball forward to Kvaratskhelia. Good football again from Napoli. And then the ball out to the right finds Di Lorenzo. Loads of room on that right-hand side to run into. Lays it off to his left here to Anguissa. Back forward here to Di Lorenzo, who will cross it into the 18-yard box. It goes all the way through to Christensen, who can chest it into the hands of Rui Patricio. But I quite like watching this Napoli team. When they're in their flow, they play some nice football. It's the first time I'm watching them, in all fairness, under their new head coach, Walter Mazzari. But I like what I'm seeing early on. The way they're able to switch the ball from one side to another very smoothly. As Rui Patricio kicks the ball out of his hands. It's a long one into the Napoli half where Lukaku, what a touch into Belotti, tries to return the favour, cut out by Romani. And it's now with left-back Rui from Napoli. There's such a solid touch there from Lukaku. You know, that's what he can bring. He gets a lot of stick, Romelu Lukaku, but his goal-scoring record, you cannot, you can't deny it's impressive. It really is, winning this title with Inter Milan a couple of seasons ago. As Napoli have got forward here, Rui with a weak-footed cross into the far post, looking for Anguissa in the 18-yard area. Goes beyond him and Zalewski, and it'll be a goal kick for Roma. Your commentary on point, though. Thank you very much, Shane. I appreciate that. That's what I like to hear. Yeah, I when there's accumulators on the line, you don't care how the team wins as long as they win. So let's hope for your sake that Napoli can get that lucky win. I just want goals. That's all I want. Just give me goals, and I'll take that very happily. As a Belotti heads out to the left-hand side here as Zalewski bombs into the Napoli half. He overruns his touch, but he keeps it away from Anguissa. Ball to his right to Paredes. He goes right once more here to Mancini. From right centre-half, he's got forward to cross this ball into the box where Belotti was going for it. Romani won the header, the Napoli centre-half, and it'll be a corner kick on this near side for Roma. Decent ball there from the attacking centre-back of Gianluca Mancini, who's making his 200th appearance tonight for Roma. Began his Roma career with a loan spell in 2019-2020 and then joined in September 2020 from Atalanta on a permanent deal. As Romani stayed down here after winning that header on Belotti, I think he might have felt a bit of contact there from the Roma striker, as I was doing the research for this game as well, and I kind of knew he had a poor record, Belotti, last season, but he was signed on a free from Torino, Andrea Belotti, and he got no goals in the Serie A last season in 31 appearances. He's already bettered that this season. He's got 3 goals already in the Serie A, 6 in all competitions with his 3 in the Europa League. Where do you live? Obviously, I'm from England, if you can't tell. Yeah. Not going to tell you where in England. It'd be a bit strange, but yeah, from England. Let's have a look here. So the Mancini cross goes in. Romani wins his header, and I think Belotti just trods on his left foot. There's not much contact. Yeah, just the top of his studs go into the bottom of Romani's leg. It's nothing. It's definitely not purposeful. That he didn't do it on purpose. That's for sure. For Napoli, Leo Ostergaard is warming up, former Brighton defender. Never made an appearance for Brighton. The Norwegian centre-half, Leo Ostergaard, but he is on the bench. Was signed from Brighton last summer for just over £4 million. Thanks to everyone who is here. If you could like and subscribe, that'd be fantastic. Plenty of commentaries coming till now and the end of the year. 4 more after this until we hit 2024. So Romani's just off next to the goal at the minute. So Napoli might be a centre-back down defending this set piece. On this near side, it's going to be a right-footed outswinger from Paredes. And he'll put it in towards the near post. It's a header won by Di Lorenzo. It loops in the air here, not dealt with by Napoli. Headed away by Osimhen to the edge of the area, where it's held back forward by Bove. A slice clearance from Di Lorenzo. And it'll be a throw in here for Napoli, midway side. For Roma, midway side the Napoli half, where the centre-half of Amir Romani has entered the field again for Napoli, so it looks like he'll be okay to continue. As it's Christensen with the throw-in. It'll be a longer one in towards the 18-yard area where Dante flicks it on. Lukaku tries to control, nodded into the air by Juan Jesus, and it's met on the edge of the box by a shot by Roma's Cristante, but it flies over the crossbar. And it'll be a goal kick for Napoli as it remains 0-0 in this game. It's definitely been Roma who have enjoyed more of the ball, but Napoli have looked silky on the ball when they've been moving it from one wing to another. And they'll play out from the back here with left back Rui. Down the line, looking towards Osimhen, met by Llorente, and that'll be a free kick for Roma. As Llorente went to win the ball, he was just pushed in the back there by Victor Osimhen. And on halfway line, it will be Roma on the ball with Diego Llorente. To the right, to Mancini. Lifted ball over the top of the Napoli defence. It goes straight through to Merritt as that ball through. Was looking for Belotti, but just had too much pace on it. And it can be rolled out by Alex Merritt for Napoli. And it's already with Politano, the right winger. Lifted ball into Osimhen, who makes it stick. Good chested touch, keeps it away from Llorente. Means it back out to the right to Politano, who goes back to Di Lorenzo. And Napoli have possession now in the Roma half, on the far side. With Politano, who will switch it out to the left. Looking for Kvaratskhelia. Cut out by Christensen, but his ball inside doesn't hit a Roma player. It's back with Napoli in the opposition half. Kvaratskhelia lays it off to left back Rui. Back to the halfway line here to Juan Jesus. In the centre circle is Romani. Di Lorenzo at right back. Forward to Politano. Inside to Zielinski. Lays it back off towards Politano. Tackled fairly, says the referee there, by Bove. And he'll drive forward for Roma. And he'll play it through into Lukaku on the left-hand side in the 18-yard box. 1-on-1 with Juan Jesus. Good tackle to stop him there from Juan Jesus. But then he was laid off by Lukaku. And a shot from the edge of the box from Bove just hits the top of the crossbar. Had Merritt worrying there. Bove was the one to start the attack by winning the ball off Politano inside his own half. He then played it through to Lukaku, and eventually he was the one who laid it off to Bove. And from the edge of the box, right-footed, it was always curling towards the top right corner, and it hit the top of the crossbar. And that is the first big chance of the game, coming so close there. Eduardo Bove, looking for his first Serie A goal of the season. But the chance goes over, and it's still 0-0 here. As Patricio clears it forward up towards Lukaku. He goes down with Juan Jesus. And it'll be a Napoli free kick there. Let's have a look. Yeah, it does look like Lukaku just pulled down Juan Jesus first and then Juan Jesus took Lukaku with him, which I don't understand. I wouldn't really want Lukaku landing on top of me. You know, he's a very bulky Romelu Lukaku. As he nearly got the assist there for the goal. Nearly went in from Bove, who hit the top of the crossbar. It's Napoli in possession, just inside their own half here. All Roma players currently behind the ball as it's Romani playing out to left back Mario Rui, who joined from Roma to join Napoli on a permanent deal back in January 2018. As a ball down the left-hand side into the 18-yard box. It looks for Kvaratskhelia, but it runs straight through to Patricio, who will roll it out to number 5, Ivan Indica. For Roma on the 18-yard box, signed on a free from Frankfurt in the summer. Former Europa League winner Ivan Indica, a couple of seasons ago, beating Rangers in the final on penalties. It's Christensen on this near side. Plays it into Cristante. First time ball forward. It's a high one. It's into the path of Belotti. Want to touch that? He's down the right-hand side. Belotti charging into the 18-yard area. He gets around Romani and he squares the ball. What a save! Bove from a couple of yards out somehow hits the goalkeeper. And it remains 0-0. That's a terrific save. Good football from Roma. High ball down the right-hand side. It's really good skill from Belotti to bring it down and absolutely rinse Romani. And as he squared it, Bove was all alone in the 6-yard area. And as he shot it, it's hit it straight at Merritt. And I think it hit the referee and the play's been stopped here. And we'll start with a Napoli ball. So close for Roma. Bove coming close twice in 2 minutes. One shot off the crossbar, then one right at the goalkeeper. Literally, he was about 4 yards out. And if he hits it to the left-hand side of the goal, it goes in. But he hits it straight. And that's straight into the body of Merritt. And Napoli survive another scare. As a long ball forward again has been held up by Osimhen. No, it hasn't, because he used his hand to hold that ball up. So it'll be a free kick for Roma, midway inside their own half. It's definitely Jose Mourinho's side on top. As I've mentioned before, they haven't beaten Napoli in the last 7 games, Roma. Their last win coming at home in November 2019. And they haven't scored in any of their last 3 games at home against Napoli, which explains why they're probably not scoring those chances through Bove. Yeah, their last goal at home came in that last win against Napoli, and it was a Veretout penalty in the 55th minute. He now plays for Marseille. Currently, there's an over-the-top ball. Merritt comes out to chase it. He clears it not very well, but then Zalewski tries to play it forward quickly, knowing the goalkeeper's off his line, but it just went past him in the end. Just deflected off the back of his foot and then out for a Napoli throw-in. He needs to be careful there, though. Alex Merritt in the Napoli goal, coming out of his 18-yard area to clear it. If you're going to clear it, you need to make sure it goes. And he didn't really make sure it went that time. It fell to the feet of Zalewski, who couldn't quite control. It's Napoli on their edge of the 18-yard box. In their 18-yard box now with Juan Jesus. Goes back to his goalkeeper Merritt. To right back Di Lorenzo. Down the line to Politano. Back heels it into the feet of Anguissa. Tries to return it to Politano, but it's won back by Indica in the Napoli half. It's now Roma on the front foot again. Cristante going back to Mancini. First time ball forward. It's a looper in the sky. Header won by Di Lorenzo, but that's after a push in the back on Bove. And it'll be a free kick for Roma. Just on their left-hand side. Di Lorenzo, the one who's committed the foul, looks like he's come worse off there. Yeah, just as before he won the header, he just put 2 hands in the back of Bove. And it'll be a free kick here for Roma. Di Lorenzo stayed down, who is in pain here. The Napoli captain, now at the age of 30. He also signed a new 5-year contract in the summer, Di Lorenzo, in August 2023. And he seems in a lot of discomfort here, Di Lorenzo. This isn't nice to see. There's Belotti there, down the right-hand side. Too easy for him to take on Romani, but it was good pace shown by Belotti. And as he squared the ball, Bove simply has to score. Literally inside the 6-yard box. Don't get me wrong, it's a good goal. It's a good save by the goalkeeper, Merritt, but it's kind of right at him. It's one where you'd expect him to save it, really, when the ball's placed right towards him. And Di Lorenzo stayed down here, and I'm presuming it's just a landing he's had, and he's hurt his knee. It must be, because Bove didn't do anything to him, so it might have been as he went up for that header, which he obviously won because he pushed Bove away to win the header. As he lands after winning it, he must land awkward. Let's have a look. He goes up for the header. I don't know what he's done there, Di Lorenzo. He doesn't jump that high as well. I really don't know what he's done. It was a problem with his right knee. He's screaming in some discomfort. It must just be a really little pull or a tweak or something he's done, because it's not obvious from replays what he's actually done there, Di Lorenzo. But no matter what he's done, he's given Roma a free kick anyway, which they have to defend. On the left-hand side, it'll be Paredes to take it. They are without Di Lorenzo, who looks like he may be okay to continue. The Napoli defensive line is well in the 18-yard box, so they're setting up deep here, Napoli. Here's Paredes. We'll put that cross in. It's a low one. It's gone all the way through. It deflects off Anguissa, who will dribble away with it in the 18-yard area. And as he tries to dribble away, Bove stops him, and he just absolutely smacks the ball out of play for a goal kick. Not wanting the counter-attack there, Bove. Stopping Anguissa in his tracks. As we've just got the goal kick being taken here by Merit. I'm just trying to see if Di Lorenzo's back on the field. 25.5 minutes in. So he's giving the thumbs up, Di Lorenzo. He's moving a little bit gingerly, but he's back on the field. And the goal kick goes over the halfway line. Helped on by Anguissa. Comes off Bove as well. Kept in by Zalewski. No, it's not. He's headed down the line by Zalewski, but he couldn't keep it in. And there'll be a throw-in for Napoli on the far side. Taken quickly towards Osimhen. Dealt with by Llorente, who gets away from the challenge of Politano. Oh, but given away by Zalewski. It's now with Politano again in the right wing position. Driving in the inside. Playing it to his left as Zielinski. He's not really been on the ball too much for Napoli. The Polish central midfielder, who's usually the creative spark in this Napoli side as they go back to halfway with Juan Jesus. It's now right back Di Lorenzo. First few touches back on the field. He goes down the line looking for Osimhen, who will get there ahead of Llorente. Can he keep it in? No, he'll let it run for a throw-in for Napoli. Last touch came off Llorente. Good forward play there from Osimhen. Winning the throw-in in the final third. With the captain with the ball in his hands here, Di Lorenzo. Waiting for a bit of movement from the Napoli forward players. It looks like he might just throw this one into the 18-yard area. And he won't do that. He'll throw it down the line to Politano. Back into Di Lorenzo. Now backwards once more to Romani. Across to Juan Jesus in the centre circle. It's now a left back, Rui, who's got Kvaratskhelia making a run inside, and his pass has been intercepted by Cristante, and he will latch onto it, even though he lacks pace. He will hold it up, and he'll play it backwards there towards Mancini, where he deflects off Rui. And it'll be thrown for Roma, just inside the Napoli half. The counter-attack was on there as Cristante intercepted that ball, as the throw-in's gone right towards the corner flag there. It's met Bove, as he tries to kick it off Juan Jesus, but it stays in play. And the Brazilian can play it to the left back, Rui, who goes inside to Lobotka, well dealt with there by Napoli. It's a really long throw that from Christensen. It was a low one. It was a bit of a bullet as a pass is intercepted by Paredes. Inside to Belotti. Edge of the box tackle strongly and fairly by Jesus, who will bring it away now. The Napoli centre half. He's met late there by Paredes, but play continues as the ball drops to Osimhen. Out to the left-hand side here to Kvaratskhelia. He's 1-on-1 with Christensen. Drives on the right and lays it off to Anguissa. In the final third here, the former Fulham midfielder is stopped in his track by Belotti. What tackle that is from the striker as he's met by a late challenge from Mario Rui, who will then be booked. And then another booking will go the way of Paredes, who deserved his yellow card there, Leandro Paredes. That was a really strong challenge on Juan Jesus, who started that attack for Napoli, which unfortunately died down a little bit once Anguissa went on the ball. End-to-end type of game? I wouldn't say end-to-end, no. I'd say Roma enjoying more of the possession, and Napoli are almost kind of playing on the counter-attack a little bit. So I'd definitely say it's Roma on top with the ball, and to be fair with the chances, Bove's at the crossbar and he's missed from a couple of yards. And Napoli haven't really tested Rui Patricio as of yet. So I definitely think it's Roma the side on top, but Napoli are the away team, couldn't come into the Stadio Olimpico, so you kind of see why Napoli are just, not going all guns blazing for it, especially when they're not in great form, Napoli. Just the 2 wins in the last 5, and obviously they were beaten in the Coppa Italia in the week at home to Frosinone. 4-0 they were beaten in the week. Really poor, embarrassing defeat really for Napoli, especially with their poor league form, as they've only won 50% of their games so far this season. 8 wins from 16 before tonight. But Napoli are just enjoying a bit of the ball at the minute. Kvaratskhelia coming deeper for the ball, playing it back to left back Rui. Midway inside their own half here is Juan Jesus for Napoli, going across to Romani. He's closed down by Lukaku. Forward into right back Di Lorenzo, who will lift the ball up towards Osimhen, cut out by Llorente. All as far as Anguissa on halfway, who keeps it moving and keeps it away from Bove. Now out to the left by Lobotka to Rui. He's got Kvaratskhelia with him. He tries to go on the inside. He's been pulled down there by Cristante, but the referee's not giving the foul. I can't believe he's not giving that. Walter Mazzari, the Napoli head coach, is absolutely furious as Roma enter the Napoli half here with Paredes on the ball in midfield. It's the most obvious free kick you'll see. Rui chops in onto his right foot. He's been pulled down by his arm through Cristante, and somehow it's not been given as Lukaku shifts it to Bove. Ball through to the left-hand side, Zalewski, who cuts it across looking for Lukaku in the 6-yard area, met by Meret, the goalkeeper at the near post. But I think Zalewski was offside as Bove played the ball towards him, so it'll be a free kick for Napoli. Just can't believe the referee didn't give that foul there on the Rui pull down by Cristante. Clearly pulled his arm down, and Walter Mazzari picks up a booking for his reaction, but his reaction is more than justified. It's simply a free kick for Napoli in the Roma half as well. I can't believe he's not giving that free kick. But they've got a free kick now from an offside, not quite in the position they'd like it. But Politano plays it forward to Osimhen, who looks like he's got this one-on-one battle with Llorente, and he's beaten him this time as he's been brought down. Referee on the case quickly to try and keep this game moving and making sure no Roma player gets in the way of the free kick, which has been taken quickly, and they've moved it out to the left-hand side here to Kvaratskhelia. Now Zielinski forward to Lobotka, 25 yards from goal, drifted out to his left-hand side. Can Lobotka find a pass? He just goes here to Rui. Kvaratskhelia, tackled by Christensen. Ball drops to Cristante, who turns away from Rui and lifts it down the line to Christensen, who's got Lukaku forward ahead of him. Can he release it to him? Kvaratskelia's gone down, and the referee blows the whistle, and the yellow card goes out to Christensen. It looks like as the wing-back was marauding forward for Roma, he just catches the face of Kvaratskhelia, who was doing his defensive work for Napoli. And it looks like he's just caught him in the face, just putting his arm across, trying to keep Kvaratskhelia away from him, and he's just caught him in the face. The Georgian winger stays down for the moment, and the Roman number 43 has been booked there, the Danish wing-back. It's been a busy game for the referee, and that was a chance for a counter-attack there for Roma. Like I said, Lukaku was forward to his right, and I think it is a foul. Just the hand goes into the face. Can't do that. You can put your arm across the body, but you can't put a hand in the face. And it's probably the right decision from the referee there. Andrea Colombo. Still 0-0. I'll say Roma have been the better side. That doesn't mean Napoli's been bad. I don't think Napoli have done anything wrong necessarily. They've kept themselves in this game. Like I said, they've lucky, to be fair, not to be 1-0 down. Bove struck the crossbar in around the 15th minute, and then in the 20th minute also he hit the goalkeeper from a couple of yards out. Cut back from Belotti, who beat Romani in the box. Cut it back. You felt like Bove could only score, but it was a good save from the goalkeeper in the end for Napoli. As it is with right back Di Lorenzo for Napoli, we're back underway. I think Kvaratskhelia is going to be fine to continue. Bit of ice on the face, and he'll be okay. Still in their own half here, Napoli, with goalkeeper Jesus pressed by Lukaku. So fall back to his goalkeeper here, Alex Meret. Goes to right back Di Lorenzo on the far side. Forward to Politano, who's just dropped here deeper to help his full back try and get out of their own half here. But the ball forward to Anguissa, the midfielder, means that they lose the ball. He couldn't keep it there. The former Fulham man, as Bove gets out to the left here to Zalewski. 1-on-1 with Di Lorenzo. The Roma wing-back tries to go on the outside, then on the inside. He does do it nicely. Shoots with his right foot, and it goes towards goal. Doesn't take any deflections. Goal kick for Napoli. Decent little run there from Zalewski, who fancied taking on Di Lorenzo, and he did do it. took him on the outside, then went in on his inside, tried to take the right-footed shot, which he was able to get off in the end, but just dragged it in the end, didn't quite catch it. Zalewski, as Kvaratskhelia has it, midway inside the Roma half on this near side. Late challenge there on the back of Kvaratskhelia again. The referee's quickly on the case. He doesn't want anything to boil over, as it's Mancini the one to give the free kick away. Just catching Kvaratskhelia there. Hi mate, can't keep up with all your comments. I know loads coming within this Christmas time. Like I said, we've got 4 more coming up on the channel between now and New Year's. They will be scheduled after tonight's stream. So we've got Preston Leeds, Brentford Wolves, Celtic Rangers, and another one that I can't remember. Fulham Arsenal, that's the other one. So they're the 4 coming up between now and the end of the year. As Osimhen picks up the ball in the 18-yard area, he goes down in the box over the challenger Paredes. He's holding his face. It's eventually cleared by Paredes up towards Lukaku. Chests it down. What a touch that is. He feeds it to strike partner Belotti, who's been forced out to the left-hand side here. He's got Zalewski, the wing-back, making an overlapping run. He'll play it to him in the final third. He'll cross it first time. It goes through towards Lukaku, dealt with by Zielinski. And it's out for a corner on the far side for Roma. Osimhen stayed down. I don't think there's anything in it, and I don't think he's getting any sympathy from the referee. He entered the box there, and he got the slightest little touch on the face. It's actually embarrassing the way Victor Osimhen's gone down. Paredes' left hand barely touches his ear, and he's holding his mouth. It just makes you angry. I'm sorry. I don't know if anyone feels the same, but when players try and buy penalties, especially with VAR these days, you're not going to get anything. Osimhen still holding his face. He was barely touched. I'm sorry, he wasn't. As now he's making the referee run from one end of the pitch all the way to the other, as Victor Osimhen stayed down. He is getting medical attention here. Definitely not getting any sympathy from the Roma goalkeeper, Rui Patricio, who's just looking down at him. Literally, Paredes' left arm just, taps his face. It's not, the contact is not enough to keep him down. It's not at all. And Osimhen did well there to win the ball. He won the ball off Llorente, who was messing around at the back. He sliced a clearance, Llorente, straight into the feet of Osimhen, who entered the box and went down under that challenge from Paredes. And nothing's been done. And Roma went up the other end and has won a corner. As again, Walter Mazzari looks very animated, the Napoli head coach, who needs to be careful because he is on a booking, as he's being spoken to there by tonight's 4th official, Federico Lepena. As it'll be a Paredes in-swinger with his right foot from the far side for Napoli. In it goes, near post, header won by Romani for Napoli and helped away by Politano, throwing it for Roma, midway side of the Napoli half as play stopped as Osimhen's allowed to enter the field again. As the throw-in's been taken here to Paredes. Puts a low ball in towards the box. It's flicked over the head of Romani and volleyed away by Lobotka on the penalty spot. And it goes out to the Napoli left to Kvaratskhelia. It's been forced back there by Cristante, who's booked. He caught Kvaratskhelia late. And then Mourinho's booked for his reaction. It's all kicking off here. With the fact that the referee's trying to keep control, he's losing it. And Jose Mourinho's having a go here at Kvaratskhelia, who was the man who went down there under the challenge of Cristante. And to be fair, for me, it didn't look like a foul. So I understand the frustration from Jose Mourinho. I definitely don't think it was a yellow, minimum. No, it's not a foul for me. And I don't know why Kvaratskhelia has gone down, because he played his pass to Mario Rui. So I don't know why he's gone down. Like I said, the contact again was minimal, to say the least. And the fact that he's booked Cristante for that is shocking. And I think he's trying to book these players to try and try and almost show the players that they're not going to get away with making these challenges. And I think giving them the yellow cards are just frustrating the players more. I think it's having the opposite effect. It's not putting them in their place. It's making them more angry to go and commit more fouls. As we're back underway, halfway line with Lobotka for Napoli. Out to the left to Rui, getting forward from full-back. Plays it to Kvaratskhelia. Got everything to his right here as he goes around the outside of Christensen towards the corner flag. He plays it back here to Rui, who has the space to try and cross it as he goes past Cristante. Caught by the midfielder. And that'll be a free kick for Napoli. Well won there by Mario Rui. Cristante needs to be careful after just being booked. Yeah, knocked the ball past Cristante, and the Roman midfielder made sure Rui wasn't getting past him. Definitely made sure his leg was in the way. That'll be a free kick in the final third on this near side for Napoli, who haven't had many attempts at goal to try and test Patricio. Yeah, Napoli have been, forced with the one shot, and it's not been on target. Roma have had 6 shots, 1 on target. Napoli are dominating the possession, but Roma are definitely dominating the better attacks. They're looking more dangerous when they do have the ball, Roma. As Zielinski with his right foot from this Napoli left-hand side is going to put this ball into the 18-yard box. In it goes. It's a header won by Ndicka. Loop to the far post where Osimhen overhead kicks the ball into the box. And Ngisa tries to help it towards goal, but he puts it wide. And it's a Roma goal kick. Zielinski put the ball in. Everyone's on side. Headed into the air by Juan Jesus in the end. Overhead kick by Osimhen across the box, looking for Ngisa, who tried to backheel it himself towards goal. But he couldn't quite do so. Wide it went in the end. Half chance for Napoli. It was inventive play from Osimhen to overhead kick the ball back into the 6-yard box. And for the winner last weekend against Cagliari, you might have seen it on social media. The Victor Osimhen assist was unbelievable. He juggled the ball in the 18-yard box and then dribbled past a couple of defenders and cut back the ball to Kvaratskhelia, who couldn't miss. There's a really good assist from Osimhen, showing that he can do both assist and score. As we're closing in on half-time here, Christensen on halfway, on this near side, kicks it off Rui, throwing for Roma. As Roma's last win in this fixture came in November 2019. As Cristante's pickpocketed in midfield there by Ngisa. Politano will now drive forward. He's got multiple Roma players near him, and he's tackled well by Bove. Good midfield play by the number 52 for Roma. And they're back on the ball, midway inside their own half here with number 16, Paredes, who's back at Roma. His second spell at the club. He was here for 3 years between 2014 and 2017, as his misplaced ball up towards halfway is cut out by Napoli as he was looking for Lukaku. And it's now with the Napoli right-hand side here with Di Lorenzo, the right-back in the final third. Lays it off to Politano, who pokes it back forward to Di Lorenzo. Can't return it to Politano, but the ball deflects out for another throw-in. Can't quite be kept in there by Zalewski, the Roma wing-back. And it's Napoli on the far side to have a throw-in with their captain, the number 22. He's won both Serie B and Serie A. Di Lorenzo, the right-back, won Serie B in 2017-2018 with Empoli, and obviously won the league last season with Napoli. As they've gone backwards here, the away side to keep the ball. Back out to the right-hand side to Di Lorenzo. Politano inside towards Zielinski, cleared by Llorente for Roma, and it goes straight through into the Napoli half on the right-hand side for Merritt, the goalkeeper, to collect it and play it to Romani. He goes back into Merritt on the edge of the 18-yard box. Switches it out to the left to Rui at left-back. He's going to try and go down the line. It's a high ball. It's down the channel looking for Osimhen. He will chase it, but Llorente will get there first. He'll play back to Patricio, who goes forward first time towards Ndicka, who just about gets there ahead of Osimhen. Headed on by Mancini, collected by Rui inside the Roma half, and Napoli just starting to enjoy a bit of the ball now inside the Roma half, something they've not done too often. Is Di Lorenzo the right back will put an early cross into the far post. It goes straight through towards Christensen, who nods it backwards towards Patricio, and it'll stay in, and it'll be Roma on the ball. It's not attacking the cross there. Kvaratskhelia at the far post meant it was easily dealt with there by Christensen. As Ndicka forward into the midfield to Cristante, just gets away from the interception of Osimhen. So Christensen on this near side at wing back, down the line it goes, looking for Lukaku. He's holding up the ball against Juan Jesus, who flicks it away from Lukaku, and it can be brought away by Ngisa. Good defending there for Napoli by Juan Jesus. As Merritt, the goalkeeper, can't quite clear it, and Navican Di Lorenzo, he slices it straight back to the goalkeeper, and he's allowed to collect the ball, and that was nearly a right mess for Napoli. Merritt's ball was a bit of a stinker, and Di Lorenzo sliced it back to his goalkeeper, which worked in the end, in fairness, as Rui's ball down the line, backheel by Ngisa, comes off Paredes, rolls out for a throw-in for Napoli, midway inside the Roma half, on this near side, right in front of their new head coach, Walter Mizzari, who's only got one win in his last 9 against Roma as a head coach. That win came back in January 2020 when he was in charge of Torino. So, despite Napoli having a good record against Roma, the head coach certainly doesn't, in recent years anyway. They've worked it to their right-hand side here, Napoli, with Politano running at Zalewski, the wing-back, going on the outside towards the byline. He works across in towards Osimhen, volleyed at the near post by Llorente. There'll be a throw-in for the away side, just inside the Roma half, with captain Di Lorenzo. He goes back to the halfway line here with Amir Romani, who made his 125th appearance in Serie A last week in Napoli's 2-1 win against Cagliari. As we're nearing the 45th minute, Di Lorenzo curling ball down the right-hand side. It'll find Zielinski on the byline, who keeps it in. And he's dribbling away from Indica. Good run here from Zielinski. Lays it off to Politano. Ball through to Di Lorenzo. First time cut back, blocked by Paredes. And it'll be a throw-in for Napoli right next to the corner flag on the far side as they're starting to work a bit of their magic, Napoli. But it's coming a bit late in the half. We're about to get the half-time break in a couple of minutes with 4 minutes added on. That due to being with the injuries that were picked up by Di Lorenzo and Osimhen within the half. Both have been okay to continue, though. Is Napoli still down their right-hand side here with Politano, Rome-born winger. Goes back to the halfway line here to number 5, Juan Jesus, who's making his third start in a row for Napoli. Zielinski, midway inside the Roma half, switches out to the right-hand side. It's a nice lofted ball into Di Lorenzo, touches it down nicely into the 18-yard box as Anguissa on the byline. The cutback needs to be right, and it's not correct. Cleared by Indica, the Roma centre-half. And there'll be another Napoli throw-in who have enjoyed the possession and the control of the game in the last 5 minutes. Di Lorenzo inside to Politano, back out to the right to Di Lorenzo. It's now into the midfield to Lobotka. Moves it to the left-hand side to Rui. Lobotka, all Roma players behind the ball. Shows that they are setting up to defend now. Try and see this game through to half-time, getting it 0-0. Then reassess. Rui, the left-back. Across to Jesus. On once more to his right to Romani. Into Di Lorenzo, the right-back. Not being closed down here by Bove, so he's allowed to play ball down the right-hand side where Osimhen will keep it away from Llorente. And he'll concede the throw in there. Ran out of pitch on the Napoli right, Osimhen. He was well followed, though, there by Diego Llorente, who's making his first ever appearance in his career against tonight's opposition. So it'll be Nikola Zalewski to take the throw-in. The Roma left wing-back on the far side. 2 minutes of added on time to play. Down the line it goes, up towards Lukaku. Touches it to Zielinski, and that's fell into the favour of Napoli. As with the winger Politano, switches it towards the left-hand side to Rui, who can bring it down. Touch gets away from him, but he'll meet it first ahead of Belotti. And he'll go back onto the halfway line now with centre-half Juan Jesus. Politano. Ball down the line. Di Lorenzo stayed onside. And he goes back into Politano in the final third. Ball to his left to Lobotka. On once more and across to Rui. Edge of the box. Works out to the left-hand side to Kvaratskhelia in the 18-yard area. Goes on the outside of Christensen. Pulls it across. And it's cleared by Llorente. Got there ahead of Osimhen. And there'll be another throw-in instead on the near side for Napoli. He's had a really good first half dealing with Victor Osimhen. Has Diego Llorente, the 30-year-old now, centre-back, on loan from Leeds. It's now Anguissa. The number 99 for Napoli. Goes back to the halfway line here to Juan Jesus. It's now with Romani, the centre-back. Juan Jesus again, the Brazilian centre-half, who's making his 225th Serie A appearance. The centre-half, who's got 4 goals in this division. 2 of them for Napoli, the team he joined from. 2 for Roma, sorry. 2 for Napoli, but he joined from Roma 2 years ago, Juan Jesus. As the ball's cleared there by Zalewski on the edge of the 18-yard box for Roma. As far as Rui, whose ball inside is misplaced. It's picked up by Cristante, who sends a ball over the top, out to the right-hand side to Belotti, will chase it. Juan Jesus will meet it, and it'll be a throw-in for the home side into the Napoli half to end the first half of play. It's got 20 seconds left of the first 45 in the derby of the sun between Roma and Napoli. Both teams are desperate for the 3 points. 3 points for Napoli would put them a point behind 4th place Bologna, as Christensen throws this ball into the 18-yard area, headed won by Anguissa, drops to Paredes, volleys it back in the box, then volleyed away by Napoli up towards the halfway line to Ivan Indika, and there'll be no more time to play as the referee, Andrea Colombo, blows for half-time here at the Stadio Olimpico. And it's been a half which has definitely defined what a derby is. Plenty of yellow cards have been handed around. Both head coaches have already been booked in Mourinho and Mazzari. For Napoli, the left-back Rui's been booked, and then there's 3 booked for Roma with Christensen, Cristante and Paredes. But the first big chances of the game came early on for Roma, and they were from both the same player, and that was Eduardo Bove. The first chance came in the 19th minute, where Lukaku laid it off to him on the edge of the box, and instead of working it out wide, Bove fancied the shot. He took it on, curling it towards the top right corner, where it hit the top of the crossbar. And literally a couple of minutes later, Bove, who had the big chance again, worked down the right-hand side towards Belotti, who took on centre-half Romani, and he entered the box on the byline. He cut it across into the 6-yard area, where Bove just had to hit it to the left-hand side of the goal. And instead of doing that, he hit it straight at the goalkeeper, and it was an easier save in the end for Alex Mera, and that was a big chance for Roma. Then from that chance towards maybe the end of the half, where Napoli started to get a bit more domination, it was booking after booking, challenge after challenge. The referee was trying his best to keep the game cool and relaxed. Lost the control a little bit within the half with a few bad decisions, a few questionable bookings, but it was definitely Napoli at the end of the half who was starting to mount the pressure and have possession in the Roma half. Couldn't quite mount any attempts on target despite the possession they've had in the first half and despite the possession they had in the Roma half. So at half time it does lead the result to be, and the scoreline to be, Roma 0, Napoli 0. Yeah, like I said, Napoli have dominated a lot of the possession, but more so in their own half. When Roma have been on the ball, they've been on the front foot and they've looked like a team who want to score the goals. Like I say, it kind of switched a little bit near the end of that half there, where Napoli were enjoying a bit more of the ball in the Roma half, but they just weren't able to conjure any shots on target where they could challenge Rui Patricio. So, definitely been a half where Mourinho will probably be the happier side, will be the happier manager, and Roma will be the happier side. Napoli will be a little bit frustrated that they've had so much of the ball but not really done much with it, where Roma's had very little of the ball and have done a lot with it. So, yeah, it's definitely Roma who will be in there, more happy. Napoli have got to sort a few things out. But you can definitely tell it's a derby with some of the challenges and the bookings and the tempers that are starting to just, rise a little bit. Like I say, a Jose Mourinho yellow card is usually the usual, isn't it, for the Portuguese manager? You thinking a lucky 1-0 Napoli now? Yeah, definitely. I think. I'm going to stick true. I'm going to go 2-2 still. Let's hope for some goals in the second half. But as long as it isn't a 0-0, I don't want a 0-0 because the commentaries I've done this week, they've disappointed me. Because the Chelsea Newcastle game was attack versus defence. The one before that, Liverpool Man United, was attack versus defence. Liverpool West Ham was the exact same. West Ham were absolutely atrocious at Anfield in the week. And then Crystal Palace Brighton was a little bit better, but it still had a lot of Brighton possession, where it was a little bit attack versus defend, especially the second half. But tonight's game has been a little bit more end-to-end, you could say, where both teams actually want to score, which is nice to watch. So I've definitely enjoyed it. And we're definitely going to do some more Serie A commentaries in the future. We've already done 2 this season in the Serie A. The last one was AC Milan losing 1-0 to Juventus. And then we also did one at the start of the season where Napoli were beaten 2-1 to Lazio. And I don't mind the Serie A. I do like it a lot. I think it's a very good league. It's got some good players in it. But some of the play acting is something that needs to be sorted, I think. Some of it, when they go down, holding the face, holding their leg, when they've barely been touched, that needs to be stopped. It's childish, and I don't like that. But overall, it's a very interesting league where you can tell there's a lot of passion, which obviously there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's what you want to see in football, but sometimes it goes a bit too far where they're, throwing themselves around on the floor, and you just think, just get up and get on with it. it makes for interesting games and interesting storylines as well, which you can never complain about. But just to remind you of the commentaries, which will be scheduled on the channel after this stream, so you'll be able to see them, which ones are coming up. And I've mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again if you weren't here. We've got Preston against Leeds on Boxing Day. We've got Brentford against Wolves in the Premier League on the 27th. We've got the Old Firm Derby on the 30th, Celtic against Rangers. And then we've got Fulham against Arsenal on New Year's Eve. And then a couple of commentaries coming after that, after the New Year. We've got West Ham Brighton and Crystal Palace Everton in the FA Cup. They're a couple that are coming after New Year's, so plenty of commentaries coming on the channel. Very, very busy, but it's exactly how we like it. Football all the time. We love it. Absolutely love it, especially festive period. It's great. I've mentioned it in the last stream, but when you've got the football on all the time, then you've got the darts on at night, and in the afternoon, it's just great. It's sport everywhere. The worst day, I think, of the festive period is Christmas, because nothing's on. There's no football, there's no sport. But no, it's definitely enjoyable at the minute to be covering so many games, even if they're not exactly how I want them to be, when they can be sometimes a little bit boring, where it's just attack versus defence. But when you've got a bit more of an open game, where teams are open to actually scoring, then it is nice to watch. Keep up the good work though, man. Cheers, thank you very much. I will keep up the work. Like I say, this is just for people who may have not seen me before. I don't just come here and just watch the game and commentate on for you. I do prep before it. So when you hear me saying these stats and you're like, how on earth does he know that? It's because I've got loads written down here in front of me. Just if you don't know, I do head-to-head sheets here. So let me try and get this on screen for you. So that's one of them. So that's head-to-head. So you got Roma on that side, you've got Napoli on that side. It's got basically stats from this season, stats from last season, the signings they've brought in, where they've finished in the last season, what they've won, and then their coaching staff. And then on the second head-to-head one, we've got both managers. So you'll have Mourinho there, Mazzari there on the left, and then you'll have the head-to-head record between the two, so like the history of the fixture. So I've said it a few times already that Roma haven't won in the last 7 games. That's because it's written down there. And then we've also got 2 for each team. I won't show you both because they're pretty much the same. But, there you've got, this is the Roma lineup there. So you'll have from goalkeeper up there all the way to the forwards. Just 2 or 3 lines on each. When they joined, their stats for this season, their stats for last season, then any little extra nuggets of information, like maybe where they've been previously. When does their contract expire? And got all their ages and the heights and everything, and then it's the exact same on the bench as well, because you can't have it for the starting 11 and not the bench, so that's the bench stats as well. So everyone who's on the bench, I'll have a little bit of information. Sometimes not as many on some, because some you might just know won't come on, and if they do come on, it'll be late on. And during, especially in the second half, I found it commentating, you use less stats, because the game starts to get exciting. It's coming towards its end, and it's it can be a bit more action packed. You just tend to focus on the game more, but those stats are for more, I find, the first half, where you're just wanting to showcase to you guys what the players are about. And if you're here for the whole stream, you'll know the stats I say at the start. You'll and little information about the players, you'll know that and you'll remember that. So it almost creates like a bit of a story for some of the players. So, like, for example, Politano, we've already mentioned him, the Napoli right winger. He's born in Rome. He came through Roma's academy. So if he scores, you already know. If I mention that he's from Rome, you know that already. You know how significant a goal from him is, because he's born in Rome. He's probably a Roma supporter. So, just like that, he almost builds a little bit of a story with little bits of information that you find out that I say in the first half, and hopefully it all adds up. Unless you get a 0-0 and then no one scores, and it's just a bit rubbish for me. But at least you can go away from the game and you've learned things about players that you might not have known beforehand. Because when I do the research on the game, I find out things I had no idea about certain players. I like to think I know quite a lot, but when you're just doing your research, you find little bits of information which you just didn't know, and I share that, and that might be something you take. A lot of it is like, it's not information you'll need in life. It's just nice to know about certain football players. So if some of these footballers join the Premier League, say if you're English, and they join the Premier League, then you'll be like, oh, I remember hearing about this guy, and he played for that team, he scored that amount of goals, just little things like that. So yeah, if you just think I come here every day for the commentaries and just sit down and explain the game to you, it's not like that. Hours of work go into the notes beforehand. That's why I don't do one every day. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm doing pretty well at the minute. I'm doing one every other day, which is nice, because especially with the commentaries, when you do notes for the teams, once you've done them for a team once, then you can just not reuse them, but you just go over them and you just add different bits, and it's easier and it's quicker than just doing a whole new batch of notes. So thankfully, hopefully we'll get loads more. Obviously going into the new year, obviously we've got the second half of the season coming up in 2024, and then we'll have the Euros after the season. It's just brilliant football all the time. Can't complain. Hopefully they're showing those notes and the pieces of paper kind of shows to you what work goes into this channel. It's not just sitting back and watching football. It is a bit of that, but it's also a lot of work going into the games as well, preparing for the notes. So I'm well informed on both teams, and I'm not just talking absolute rubbish. But if you are new, if you could like and subscribe, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Really helps the channel out grow, as we're trying to grow as much as possible. As I would love to try and do this a little bit, more, do it all the time, and maybe start getting paid for it at some point. That'd be brilliant. To take the channel to the next level, that would be the aim. But liking and subscribing is more than helping me, and it is very much appreciated, as the second half is going to be getting underway in a couple of minutes. We had 4 minutes of added on time there, so we've gone a little bit over, the running of the game. I don't know if this will focus, but my mate for my birthday a couple months ago got me a mystery box, and this was one of the shirts that came with it. Wearing it for the first time today. Hopefully he doesn't. Look at that, by the way. Can I stand up? Look at that. Erling Haaland. It's a cracker. It's a cracker of a t-shirt. It's fantastic. Look at that. Proper old school looking shirt. I like it a lot. So wearing that today. But I'm not going to compare Victor Osimhen to Erling Haaland, but Victor Osimhen, as I mentioned before, signed a new contract. Well, it was announced today that he signed a new contract at Napoli, and he's got a 130 million euros release clause, apparently, something within that. 130 to 140 million euros release clause. Chelsea were very interested, but that new contract might, take their interest somewhere else. But I think it's definitely a good deal for Napoli to get him on a new contract, and if they do end up having to sell him, they'll just ask for the release clause, and you can't shy away from 130 million euros coming your way. As Victor Osimhen does turn 25 next week. Next Friday, on the 29th, he'll become 25. The Nigerian striker, who was signed for 70 million euros from Lille back in 2020. And he's just got an unbelievable goal-scoring record. He was fantastic last season in their title-winning campaign. He got 26 in 32 Serie A appearances. He got the one hat-trick against Sassuolo in October. He's got the 7 in 12 this season, just one in his last 4. So still a decent goal-scoring record. He has been out for a few games this season already with a hamstring injury, but nothing too major to keep him out for an extended period of time. But we'll see if he can bring the goals in the second half for Napoli. He's been defended against very well by Diego Llorente of Roma, who's on a season and a half long loan from Leeds United, the Spaniard. And that's been a really good battle between Llorente and Osimhen. I think just at the minute, when it comes to going forward, I do think the Roma midfield has just got the better of the Napoli midfield. Obviously, it's 3 midfielders each. You've got Bove, Cristante and Paredes for Roma, and then Lobotka and Gisa and Zielinski for Napoli. So that's a really intriguing, midfield 3 battle between the two teams. As both teams are just in the tunnel at the minute, as the second half will be getting underway a couple of minutes' time here at the Stadio Olimpico, the home of Roma and Lazio. And I'd love to commentate on that game, hopefully, at some point at the end of the season when them two teams face. That's a proper rivalry, obviously sharing the stadium, Roma and Lazio. It's a proper rivalry and derby, that game. I have to see when they face each other again. Roma and Lazio. Let's have a look, because I want to commentate on that, that's for sure. They face each other on the 7th of April, or the weekend of the 7th of April, where Roma play Lazio at home. At home. They are the home team, obviously they both play at the Stadio Olimpico. But some difficult fixtures coming up for Roma. Very difficult. Next league game, they're away at Juventus, and then they've got Cremonese in the Cup at home on the 3rd of January, but then their next 2 league games after that is Atalanta at home and then AC Milan away. So it doesn't get much easier for Roma, and with a point tonight, they would go up to 7th. Napoli would stay 6th. But a win tonight for Napoli would take them 1 point off the top 4 spot. That's Bologna. Fiorentina are currently in 5th with 30 points. And then Napoli in 6th with 28 points. Then Roma in 7th with 26. So it's very close there. And Jose Mourinho waves at the camera that passes him as we are close to starting this second half. We've got the Napoli team out. We're just waiting for the Roma side to emerge back onto the pitch. As I mentioned, Jose Mourinho has now been in charge of Roma for well over 2 years. Being in charge of his 132nd game tonight. Got 8 wins from his first 10. It was a fantastic start for him, but not got a great record in Serie A with Roma, as I mentioned before, finishing 6th in back-to-back seasons. But they are in the Europa League again, as they got to the final last season. They were beaten by Sevilla, and in the last 16, or in the playoff spots, sorry, they have got Feyenoord, who they had to beat in the quarterfinals last season to get to the Europa League final, so that'll be an interesting fixture between Roma and Feyenoord as they meet once again. As they come to the Roma side, finally. Took their time, but they're back on the field as we're going to get underway for this second half in under a minute's time now. There is Romelu Lukaku, as it'll be Roma kicking right to left, Napoli left to right. It'll be the home side to kick us off for this second half in the Derby of the Sun. Who will shine the brightest and bring home the 3 points? Or will it end a stalemate? Who knows? It could definitely end a draw. There was 2 draws in this fixture back in the 2021-2022 season. As Christensen's ball down the line has eventually rolled out of play in the Napoli half. Throwing for the away side, midway side, their own half here, on the far side. Rui throws it back here into Juan Jesus, to the goalkeeper Merritt, who clears it first time with his left foot. It's a looper into the sky, where the header can be won by Cristante. Brought down by Anguissa with the chest, plays it out to the left here to Zielinski. Rui, the left back, lifted ball up towards Kvaratskhelia, whose touch just gets away from him, and it can be taken away by Mancini, who pokes it forward to Lukaku, looks for the feet of Bove. Just gets away from him by Anguissa, and it's back with the Napoli goalkeeper Merritt, who goes to right back Di Lorenzo, as we are back underway now for the second half of Roma against Napoli. Napoli looking to make it 3 wins in a row against Jose Mourinho's Roma after the league double last season, winning home and away. But only Inter Milan have won more home games this year than Roma. That's in 2023, so that involves this season. And last season, Inter Milan have won 14 home games, Roma have won 13. And they've also got the joint most clean sheets in 2023 with 10. Roma, that's home clean sheets, so they're doing stuff right at home. It's more away from home where they're struggling. There's Napoli, got it in the Roma half here. On this near side with Politano, who's been forced back to the right back, Di Lorenzo. He's got the switch on of Mario Rui. Just goes behind him into his own half to Romani, the centre-back. He's been forced all the way back to the goalkeeper Merritt after he's being closed down there by Andrea Bellotti. So now with left back Rui. Down the line to Kvaratskhelia. Gets it back into Rui. Inside to Zielinski on halfway. Out to the right-hand side here to Di Lorenzo. Good football here from Napoli as they're into the Roma half. Anguissa now on the ball. Forward to Zielinski. edge of the box, left foot. He will strike it towards goal. And it's the first one on target. But it's an easy save for Patricio. It's definitely one you expect the experienced Portuguese goalkeeper to take. Just didn't quite catch it very nicely there, Zielinski, as he was aiming towards the bottom right corner. And like I say, it was an easy save in the end for Patricio. There's Zielinski there looking for his third goal of the season. It had been his first away from home. His 2 goals in the league so far have both come at home to Lazio and Udinese. That's Lobotka. Sorry about that. The noise will go, don't worry. This is with right back Di Lorenzo. Just inside his own half, ball forward in between the lines. Great ball to Zielinski. Into the path of Anguissa in a right wing position. He's got Politano with him. He'll go backwards instead here to Di Lorenzo. Zielinski. Out to the right again to Anguissa. In the final third on this near side. Looking for the pass. Not got much on. So he has to go backwards again to Romani. It's Lobotka who's in between the 2 centre-backs. And it's all the way back to the halfway line to Juan Jesus. Well kept by Napoli to keep the possession. But I think it's more impressive that Napoli was forced back there by Roma. It's left back Rui. Just inside the Roma half. Lobotka forward to Kvaratskhelia. His touch is a bit wayward and it can be picked up here by Cristante for Roma on the halfway line. Goes backwards here to Christensen, the wing back. Into Mancini. First time ball around the corner. Belotti will chase it. Juan Jesus will get there first and poke it back to his goalkeeper Merritt as the flag goes up for offside. And the free kick will be given for Napoli. About 10 yards in front of their 18-yard area. Played quickly by Juan Jesus to his left to Mario Rui. Goes forward to Zielinski. Turns away from Mancini. Caught by the Roma captain. Free kick for Napoli on the halfway line as Zielinski just hurt his hip there as he was clattered into there by Gianluca Mancini. I don't think he's been booked tonight yet, Mancini. He has picked up 4 yellow cards in his previous 10 against Napoli. He's a very aggressive centre-half, Mancini, who's making his 200th appearance tonight for Roma, and he's already got 4 red cards for the club. But Napoli have the ball, with Di Lorenzo the right back, being closed down by Bove. Goes down the line to Politano. First time ball up towards Osimhen. Header won by Llorente. Picked up by Lobotka in the midfield. Heavy touches been given to Cristante, who will have a free kick here as it came off the hand of Lobotka. Worked out to the left hand side to Zalewski. Clips it back into Llorente, who can chest it down and play it out to the left hand side. Cut out by Lobotka on halfway. Forward to Anguissa. Back to Lobotka. And then he gives it away looking for Anguissa on halfway. And it's now with Cristante in the centre circle. He's got the switch out to the right of Christensen. He's looking for it. Doesn't trust himself to get the pass off. So he'll lay it into Mancini. Forward into Belotti. To his left to Cristante. Forward to Lukaku in the box. Back to goal. Can he turn and shoot? He tries to a first time. Blocked but then drops to him. And then he lays it off to Zalewski, whose shot on the edge of the box is blocked. And Napoli work it out to the left hand side here to Kvaratskhelia. He's back in the defensive third here with left back Rui. He switches it out to the right to Di Lorenzo, who's got loads of time on the ball for Napoli. And the away side deal with it. And he's been forced back here, Di Lorenzo. He's able to turn and look forward. And he plays it down the line. It's a low one. It's cut out by Zalewski. And it's now Roma on the ball inside the Napoli half. Mancini on the edge of the centre circle inside the Napoli half. He goes back out to the left to Paredes. Forward to Bove. Then back to the halfway line to Indica. Just gets it through beyond Osimhen. It's now with Paredes, midway side of the Napoli half. Lifts it into the box. Look for Cristante, whose touch gets away from him and it can be volleyed away by Romani. And the last touch there comes off a Roma man. And I think it might be a goal kick or a throw for Napoli. Good lifted ball in by Paredes. Tried to bring it down there, Cristante, and he went over the challenge of Rui. And that's not a penalty for me. Went down too easily once again. What a shock. And Napoli dealt with it in the end. And it's actually gone for a goal kick for Napoli. Taking short to the left back Rui. He goes down the left hand side. Looking up towards Osimhen. Chests it into the path of Kvaratskhelia, who loses it to Mancini. It's now with Bove, who's got Christensen available on the right. Couldn't quite get it out to him, so goes back to Indica on halfway. And it is Roma still on the ball, but you felt like if he could have got that ball out to Christensen on the right hand side, could have been danger there as Mancini goes long up towards Lukaku, comes off his head as he heads it backwards off towards Anguissa, whose ball forward comes off Cristante, And it's now with Paredes, former PSG midfielder. Tries to go through towards Borvé. Passes just away from him and it can be cleared by Rui. Up towards Osimhen. He'll let the ball run across his body. And there'll be Indica here, one-on-one in a right-wing position here, Osimhen. Goes back to Politano, who's come to support him. It's now with Lobotka, midway side the Napoli half. The counter-attack's just slowed down slightly. Roma have got bodies back. As it's Kvaratskhelia. Inside to Anguissa. About 35 yards away from goal. He goes across to the right-hand side to Di Lorenzo. Here's Politano. He's got everything to his left here. The number 21. Shifts it onto his left foot. Edge of the box. Plays it across again to Zielinski. Keeps the ball moving here for Napoli. It's now with the left back Rui. Right-footed. He loops across in. That is so overhit. And he goes straight out for a goal kick for Roma. Got to be doing better than that there, Mario Rui, when you've got Victor Osimhen in the box, who did get the 2 goals last season in each fixture for Napoli against Roma. Got the winner here in the 80th minute last time out, in last October in 2022. Patricio, left-footed clearance, out towards the Roma right. Headed out towards Christensen by Juan Jesus, and he's played forward by the wing-back into Lukaku, and then he takes over again. Christensen on the right-hand side, in the final third, crosses it, and it just avoids the head of Belotti, but he goes straight through to Zalewski on the left-hand side, in the box, crosses it, and it's a floater, which can be easily caught by Alex Merritt, and Napoli will try and counter as he rolls it out quickly to Politano, still inside his own half. He's got Zielinski to his left as he drives forward here, Politano. He's really put on the pace. Oh, he skips beyond Llorente, finds Kvaratskhelia in the box, on the left, on his right foot he shoots, and it's straight at Patricio. And it's still 0-0 here. It's a really good run though there by Matteo Politano to then find Kvaratskhelia, who's looking for his 6th goal of the season in the league. He's got 2 in his last 4. Didn't score any in the Champions League, as he is making his 50th appearance tonight in the Serie A. Kvaratskhelia, as Roma have it in their back line with Ivan Indica, who was born in Paris but switched his allegiance to Ivory Coast and made his debut in September 2023 as he's dribbling forward with the ball. Napoli are going to have to make a change here. Play was stopped as Stanislav Lobotka went down. And they've already got a change ready. And he's an important part of the Napoli puzzle, Stanislav Lobotka. He very much makes this team stick. He's featured in every game so far this season. In the league, Champions League and Cup. And as he was playing a pass, looks like he may have just pulled a muscle there. Lobotka is very much like the Rodri of Napoli. That's how I would explain it. So losing him is quite a blow. And he'll be replaced by Jens Kajuste, who was signed for €12 million from Stade Reims in the summer. The 24-year-old Swedish international, who's making his 20th start of the season. Only started 3 in the league. So Lobotka off for Kajuste, the number 24 for Napoli. So back underway, and the ball's gone out of play on the Napoli left on the far side, just inside the Roma half, and it'll be Mario Rui to take this throw in. The Portuguese left back made 9 appearances for Roma in a 2-year stint at the club. And it's the 15th time he's playing Roma tonight. Mario Rui, as his throw-ins go back into the Napoli half with Juan Jesus. It's now Kajuste getting his first few touches of the ball, the midfielder, as he goes back to his goalkeeper Merritt. Did start the last game, Kajuste. In the league, in the win against Cagliari. There's that misplaced ball by Zielinski. It's picked up by Zalewski in the Roma half. Tries to go backwards here, but he's been tackled fairly by Anguissa. It's now Zielinski. He's got Politano to his right. He feeds it to him. Squares it. Edge of the box. Kajuste strikes. Blocked by Llorente. Helped away by Borvé. But Kajuste will be the man to recollect the ball. There's play will be stopped again as Zalewski stayed down. And I'm not sure about this one because he was dribbling back towards his own goal as he couldn't turn forward because he was being chased by Politano. And as he tried to go back towards his own goal, he was then tackled by Anguissa. So really nowhere to go for Zalewski. And he was tackled fairly. Absolutely no contact. Why he's gone down, I don't know. He stopped the game again. Mourinho's asking for it, but there's no foul in there. Barely touches him. Just because he's lost the ball and he's embarrassed himself because he couldn't turn forward, he couldn't go backwards, stops the game again. It's just annoying. You know, people criticise the Serie A for being slow, the league being slow. This game hasn't been that, in fairness. It has been quite a quick-paced game for the majority. But that's when it gets the criticism. The amount of stoppages we've had because players are going down when they've not even been touched. It's ridiculous. And it's frustrating. And of course, Zalewski's okay to continue. As Napoli, what a dummy that is by Politano. Di Lorenzo latches onto the ball and he drives down the right-hand side for Napoli into the final third. He will cross the ball. It's flicked on by Politano, headed away at the far post by Christensen, controlled on the edge of the box by Cristante. And he turns forward here, the number 4 for Roma, and plays a ball looking for Belotti, cut out on the halfway line by the head of Romani. Straight to Bove in the midfield, who runs out of pitch on the Roma left. And there'll be a throw-in taken quickly by Ngisa to Cayuste. As we've had a whistle blown here. Is that a handball, maybe? I think a handball's been given against Cayuste there, the substitute midfielder. Just came off his hand. And that'll be a free kick on halfway for Roma. Yeah, Cayuste penalised for a handball there. As he was controlling the ball, it just came off his chest. And then to his arm as Zalewski sends a high ball forward in behind. Lukaku will chase it, but Meret will get there first, just as it was entering the 18-yard box. Rolled out to Rui. Ball out to the left looking for Kvaratskhelia. Cut out by the head of Mancini. It will drop towards Christensen. Last touch off Rui. Throwing for Roma. Taken quickly down the line to Cristante. In the final third. On the right-hand side, he tries the first-time cross. Blocks by Jesus, the centre-half. And there'll be a throw-in for Roma. In the final third, a chance for Christensen to put a long throw-in to the 18-yard area. He'll go backwards instead to Mancini. Now Paredes forward to the edge of the box to Cristante. He's holding the ball up, playing out to the right-hand side to Christensen. Low ball in towards the near post, cut out by Juan Jesus. Getting there ahead of Romelu Lukaku. And there'll be another throw in the final third for Roma on the far side. Over half an hour to play. It is going to be a long one this time. Does the run up, throws the ball in, headed on by Cristante, loops into the box in the air as it's helped on, and an acrobatic attempt was tried there by Belotti, and he's going to be booked. He's caught Di Lorenzo as he goes for the overhead kick. And a yellow card and a free kick. I think that's pretty harsh there on Andrea Belotti. There's no intent behind it. He's not trying to kick him in the head. And maybe that is the risky run, trying an overhead kick. It was helped on by Cristante and then Mancini. And about 6 yards out, Belotti's gone for the overhead kick. And I think he almost kicked the ball onto Di Lorenzo's head. I can't believe he's booked him for that. Mourinho's frustrating. I agree with him that time. I don't think the referee's got all of his decisions right tonight. I think that was one of them. I don't think he even really connected with Di Lorenzo's head. I think he kicked the ball onto Di Lorenzo's head, which made him go down. But Belotti's been booked. One back, though. Oh, it's not been one back. And Ngisa caught there by Zalewski on the Roma left, just inside the Napoli half, and it'll be a free kick for the away team. That's just the two changes from Napoli from when they last came here, since they last played Roma, back on January 29th. Kim Min-jae obviously isn't around anymore. He went to Bayern Munich, and then Lozano was another one who left. But bar that, the other 9 start tonight, which started that game, which was a 2-1 win. It's Paredes. Forward for Napoli. Chested down by Lukaku on halfway. Belotti lays it off to the right to Cristante. It's good football here. Christensen's bursting the gut down the right. He tries to play it through instead towards Lukaku. Deflects back to Cristante. His first pass wasn't the right one. And he plays it to Cristante, to Christensen eventually, whose cross deflects off Mario Rui. And it'll be a corner on the far side as Juan Jesus there is picked up a booking, as he was the one who took out Belotti, as he was the one who released it to the on-rushing Cristante. So another booking in this game. If you've got a bet on for bookings, you're winning big time, for sure. We've had 4 for Roma and now 2 for Napoli. So that's 6 altogether. 8 if you include the 2 head coaches being booked, Mourinho and Mazzari. But we've got a outswinging corner on the far side from Leandro Paredes. It's a deeper one this time towards, I think it was Mancini who's headed it out to the left-hand side. Kept alive by Belotti. One-on-one with Rui. Tries to go on the outside of the Portuguese full-back. And he runs out of pitch in the end. It's a goal kick. Can't quite take on. Napoli's number 6 there, Andrea Bellotti, former Torino striker, who scored 100 Serie A goals for Torino in 232 appearances. He was a real bagsman for them, Bellotti, but his lack of goals last season meant that he dropped out of the Italy squad. He's not had a call up to the Italy squad since June 2022. He was actually one who had one of his penalties saved in the Euros final. You might remember Pickford saved his, even though it didn't mean anything in the end. It's on halfway line. It's Caiuste for Napoli, the number 24 midfielder who was brought on about 5 minutes ago for an injured Stanislav Lobotka. As Politano's touch goes out of play there, throwing for Roma on the halfway line with their left wing back Zalewski, who was also sent off with Lukaku a couple of games ago in their 1-1 draw against Fiorentina. As he throws it down the line towards Lukaku, his chested touch drops to Bove, back to Paredes on halfway, switches it out to the right, it's a high one. Christensen will win the header forward, and he'll chase his own header here, where he'll lose that one to Juan Jesus, but it drops to Cristante, midway inside the Napoli half. Out to the right to Mancini, back it goes here to Paredes. Forward to Bellotti, keeps it away from Juan Jesus, and it's Bove to take over, edge of the box, he decides to shoot, doesn't catch it, flies over the crossbar, and it remains 0-0 here between Roma and Napoli. As Jose Mourinho is in conversation there with his assistant Salvatore Fotti and Giovanni Serra, his assistant and coach. Thanks to everyone who's here. Good, decent amount of numbers here. If you could like and subscribe, that'd be fantastic. As the ball goes forward for Napoli, headed on by Anguissa, brought down by Osimhen, lays it off to the right to Politano, overhits the touch, cut out by Paredes, who will play it forward to the halfway line. Bellotti will try and turn, pushed in the back by Romani, and that'll be a free kick for Napoli in the centre circle. Well won there by the number 11. No complaints there from the Kosovo centre-half, Amir Romani, 29-year-old for Napoli. Joined in 2020 from Hellas Verona, Amir Romani. And Mancini lifts the ball up towards Lukaku, brings it down with the chest. What a touch that is. And he keeps it, tries to play out to the left, but it's cut out by Politano, and he'll chase away, and he'll be pulled back there by Zalewski. And that'll be the most obvious booking you'll see all day. Oh, and it's his second. How silly is that? Who's been sent off? Who's been sent off there? Zalewski's pulled him back. I don't know what's happened there. So Lukaku played it out to the Roma left, cut out by Napoli's right-hand side of Politano. He's been pulled back by the two hands there. Oh, and then he kicks out at him. Oh, Politano, what are you doing? So Politano's bursting down that right-hand side. He gets pulled back by Zalewski with two hands gripping his shirt. And then he kicks out at Zalewski. It's not like a big kick out where he's doing it as hard as he can. It's just a little tap with his foot. And that's counted as a kick out by the referee. And Politano has seen red. It's his first ever red card for Napoli in his 170th appearance. And the man, born and bred in Rome, who came through their academy, has seen red against them. He's been one of the better players tonight as well, Matteo Politano. But he just let a little bit of aggression get the better of him there. Zalewski's been booked for his two-handed pull of the shirt. And then Politano's seen red for the littlest tiny of kickouts against Zalewski. And that changed the tide of this game. What a change of fortune that is for Roma. Like I say, it wasn't a big kick out. It wasn't one of them where he's really kicked out. It was just a little, like, get away bit of a kick. But the referee has stood for nothing tonight. And he sent him off. Wow. The Roma-born winger sees red at the Stadio Olimpico. And it's Roma 0, Napoli 0. Got 23 minutes to play. But Napoli, away from home, are down to 10 men. They have lost 3 of their last 5 away from home as well. Napoli against Empoli, Inter Milan and Juventus. And now they've got to try and get a result here with 10 men. As they have got the ball on halfway. It's with central midfielder Anguissa. So left centre half Juan Jesus, also formerly of Roma himself. Di Lorenzo inside to Anguissa on halfway. Good play. And then forward to Caiuste. Nice from Napoli. Out to the left to cover at Skelia. Rui's overlapping the left back. Plays it through in the box looking for Caiuste. Cut out by Christensen who clears it away. Up towards Lukaku. Can't quite keep it in. And it's a throw-in on the far side for Napoli. Just inside the Roma half. As they played it into the midfield here with number 24. Jens Caiuste. Zielinski to Caiuste on the halfway line, working himself away from Paredes, and then goes back to Di Lorenzo. He's got Rui available on the left-hand side. He'll play it to the Portuguese left-back, who's been forced backwards there by Juan Jesus, as he was being tracked quickly there by Mancini. Romani's ball forward, finds Zielinski, round the corner, can't find Osimhen, cut out by Llorente, on halfway's Cristante, back into Paredes, on once more to Mancini, dinked ball forward, looking for Lukaku, goes over his head and then brought down nicely by Juan Jesus. And it's Napoli back on the ball, as they enter the Roma half, with a pass out to the left to cover at Skelia, and then back into their own half with Juan Jesus to keep the possession. Now Di Lorenzo on the right. Down the line, finds Zielinski, who kicks it off in Dicker, and that'll be a throw-in for Napoli midway inside the Roma half on this near side. Zielinski will drop the ball and he will allow the right back Di Lorenzo to take, as Roma are going to make a change. Captain Lorenzo Pellegrini will be coming on very shortly, as Di Lorenzo overhits a touch, picked up by Paredes, forward to Belotti. Christensen's free on the right-hand side. Misplaced pass, can't find him. Cut out by Rui. Ball down the left. Finds Osimhen. Keeps it away from Llorente for now. Yes, he does. Kvaratskhelia takes it. But then Osimhen has been penalised for a hand in the face of Llorente. And it'll be a free kick for Roma, who had a couple of them in this game. Hands in the face. That one goes against Napoli. He's just trying to hold the ball up there. Osimhen, and then just catches the elbow into Llorente's chin. Both embrace with a nice little hug there. And both players will be okay to continue. As we're going to get a double change here for Roma. Zalewski, the wing back. We're going to get 3 changes. The wing back Zalewski comes off for El Shawari. We've got Leandro Paredes, who is going to be replaced here by Lorenzo Pellegrini. And we'll see striker Andrea Belotti replaced here by Sardar Azmoun, on loan from Leverkusen, the Iranian winger, the Iranian striker. So attacking changes, to say the least, from Jose Mourinho, who obviously smells blood here, with the fact that Napoli have gone down to 10 men with 20 minutes to play. It's a free kick for Roma in a right-back area. After that, Osimhen, elbow in the chin. And that'll be the number 23, sorry. Mancini to take. He'll go short to Cristante, then back into Mancini, who lifts it forward, looking for Lukaku, headed away by Rui on halfway, straight to Pellegrini, who off the bench gets his first few touches on the ball. It's now Bove, cut out by Juan Jesus as he looked for Lukaku, throwing for Roma, just inside the Napoli half on the far side. It's thrown back into their own half here with Mancini, who will go across here to number 14, Diego Llorente, who was born in Madrid and came through Madrid's youth system from 2002 to 2017. That's Cristante on halfway. Big switch out to the right-hand side. It's going to be brought down. What a chested touch that is by Christensen. One-on-one with Rui now in the final third. Tries to take him on. Stopped in his tracks by Rui. Good defender from the left-back, who will play it down the line to Kvaratskhelia. And then gets it to Anguissa. Inside the 18-yard area here for Napoli. Goes out to the right-hand side here to Di Lorenzo. He's being closed down here by Azmoun. As he goes inside to Caiuste, then 1-2s it to Di Lorenzo with a nice little flick. Good play from Napoli, who gets taken down there with Di Lorenzo by Cristante. And there'll be a free kick for Napoli. Needs to be careful, Cristante. He is one of them on a booking. So just saw there on the side of Di Lorenzo's neck there, just there, as you can see, he's got number 22 tattooed on him, which is his number for Napoli. So obviously I'm presuming he won't be changing that number anytime soon. As Napoli look very calm with 10 men. Kvaratskhelia on the left. Gets beyond Christensen, who slips. He's got Osimhen forward. Tries to slip him through in the box, but he's been stopped by De Laurentiis, who clears. And he wins a free kick, and Osimhen's booked. Again, I don't know why he's giving out so many yellow cards for those kind of free kicks. That's just for Victor Osimhen, that is just a yellow card. That is just a foul, free kick, move on. Don't think a yellow's needed. He tries to win the ball. Llorente shifts it on forward first. I just don't think it's a yellow. I really don't. But that's what's been given. Unless the referee's got an acca on yellow cards. They've got a bet on the yellow cards. I do not know. But it's with Roma just inside their own half here, with Cristante in the midfield. Obviously, Napoli have to be careful with their pressing because they've got a man less. Cristante, ball out to the left. Lukaku will get there, and he will take it on first time. And just in the corner of the box on the left-hand side, he took it on early. It went over the bar, but it's not the worst attempt there by Romelu Lukaku, who got away from Juan Jesus, got a little bit of space to shoot. And he looked for the top left corner. He couldn't quite find it. Team Day has been starved of service a little bit tonight. Lukaku, as Kvaratskhelia loses out to Mancini, works it out to Christensen on the right. Backwards it goes here to Bove. He's got an angle for a cross, sends it to his left instead to Cristante. Then out to the left-hand side, looking for El Shaarawy. And he goes behind him and out for a throw-in for Napoli. As that's met by a round of applause from Jose Mourinho. Not wanting to get his team's head down. As Jose Mourinho has not beaten Napoli in these last 5 games. 2 0-0 draws within that. Home and away. There's just over 15 minutes to play of the 90. Before the throw-in's taken, I think we're going to get a Roma change here. And it's going to be right wing back, Zeki Celik, to come on for Rasmus Christensen. So a like for like on that Roma right. Turkish international on for Roma. Signed last summer from Lille, where he won the French Super Cup and the Ligue 1 title back in the 2020-2021 season. That's midway side their own half. Napoli have got a throw in on the near side. They throw it back to the 18-yard box to Romani, to his goalkeeper Merritt. Now to his left to Rui. Forward to Anguissa. First time touch towards Kvaratskhelia, who keeps it away from Mancini but can't keep it away from Celik, who in the final third crosses low. Azmoun back to goal, turns and shoots, deflects. El Shaarawy on the edge, he doesn't catch it, but then it's helped into the back of the net by Lorenzo Pellegrini, who breaks the deadlock against 10-man Napoli. It's inventive. He catches out the goalkeeper. And it gives Roma a lead, which you'll fancy seeing them hold on to with the fact they've got a man extra. What a finish from the number 7, Lorenzo Pellegrini, who was dropped to the bench after last week's defeat to Bologna. And it's only his second of the season in the league. It's his first since October. And Zeki Celik straight off the bench with that cross into the box. Azmoun tried the shot. That was blocked. El Shaarawy mishit it. And it just bounced into the 18-yard area towards the penalty spot, where Pellegrini just met it ahead of Di Lorenzo. And on the turn, with his right foot, he almost swiveled onto it. Took it on. And into the right-hand side of the goal it goes. Completely caught out the goalkeeper Merritt, who was glued to the ground. And in this derby of the sun, Lorenzo Pellegrini has showed his class and has given his side the lead. Roma 1, Napoli 1, Pellegrini with a goal. So well taken, the substitute, who's literally been on for a couple of minutes. Five minutes it's took him to score. And Roma have a 1-0 lead. Di Lorenzo just didn't get tight enough to him in the 18-yard area as it bounced towards him. And like I say, took it on the turn. Right-hand side of the goal. Really good creative finishing there to not bring the ball down. He took it on while it was bouncing, caught out the goalkeeper. And that's another game with no clean sheet for Napoli. The ball goes in the box for Napoli here. Headed away to the midfielder Cayuste. It's still Napoli on the ball in the Roma half. Furthest back's here Mario Rui, and he's on the ball. He goes to his right here to Zielinski. He goes across again to Rui, and then he's being forced back to his goalkeeper from the press from Bove. That's the goalkeeper merit for Napoli. Remember, this result takes Roma in front of Napoli in the league table. This would take Roma to 6th place, I believe. As Osimhen's ball across into the box has been deflected off the hand of a Roma man, and it'll be a free kick on the Napoli right here on this near side. Yeah, this will put Roma into 6th and Napoli into 7th. Yeah, arms were out there from Llorente as the cross went in. So a free kick on the right-hand side in the final third. Perfect opportunity for Zielinski to put the cross in here, who is very good from dead ball situations, the Polish midfielder. Not been too involved tonight, Piotr Zielinski. But can he work his magic? It's a perfect space for a cross. Needs to get this right. It's going to go into that 18-yard area, maybe even the 6-yard area. In it goes into the 6-yard area at the far post. And it just goes beyond Di Lorenzo, who wants a corner. He won't get it. It'll be a goal kick. But that's a wicked ball in from Zielinski. It goes right the way through to Di Lorenzo, and yep, doesn't take a nick off anyone. He's got to get contact on it. It just goes behind him in the end. Di Lorenzo and the captain begs for the corner, and he won't get it. Goal kick for Roma, and this is a hard place to go. They've only lost once at home this season, Roma, and if they don't lose tonight, it'll be 1 loss in 9 at home. It came against AC Milan. As El Shaarawy down the line, cut out by Di Lorenzo, but his touch goes only as far as El Shaarawy, who clears again. Only as far as Romani for Napoli on halfway. Zielinski down the right-hand side. Di Lorenzo will chase it. El Shaarawy will get there first. Going back towards his own corner flag, he spins and plays it straight to the feet of Zielinski. It's now Osimhen for Napoli. Tries to square it. Deflected off Ndicka. And it'll be a throw-in on this near side for Napoli in the final third. As even with 10 men there, trying to get an equaliser here. As we're going to get a change here for Napoli. The number 6, Mario Rui, the left-back, the Portuguese man, who's making his fifth start tonight in the league, will be replaced by number 23 in left winger, Alessio Zerbin, the Italian left winger. I think we've had another change as well. I think Alessandro Zanoli came on the right wing back, but I'm not sure who we replaced here. As a free kick's been given to Napoli on the right-hand side. Di Lorenzo brought down. And Pellegrini, the current match winner, booked. I think for a bit of dissent towards the referee. As Mourinho's not happy again. Two of the Roma players just asking the questions here for the booking. As it'll be Zielinski again. It's far on the right-hand side this time. The other one where he put it nicely in towards Di Lorenzo, that was more on the inside. This one's right on the right-hand side, so he'll need to really get this one right. As El Shaarawy gave the free kick away, it was on Di Lorenzo as he poked it forward there after he got the return from the throw-in. El Shaarawy just caught him late. It is a free kick, for sure. And it would be such a bad giveaway of 3 points if Roma cannot see this one through. It'll be Zielinski again on this near side. Right-footed. In it goes. Beautiful cross. Header well won by Ndicka. To the edge of the box towards Kvaratskhelia. Heads it forward. Met by the challenge of Lukaku there, Zerbin. And then Kvaratskhelia loses out to Lukaku, who gets beyond Juan Jesus. And the counter-attack's on. Into the Napoli half. Options to his left. Plays it through to Azmoun, who tries to flick it on once more towards El Shaarawy, who keeps it alive. And it's now with Pellegrini. The counter-attack just dies down as Pellegrini's forced back to Cristante. Just that ball through by Lukaku. Just didn't quite have the pace for it. Napoli have got their bodies forward. Got their bodies back, sorry. And now they can try and defend this Roma attack with 8 minutes to play. Down the line to El Shaarawy in the final third on the near side. Goes on the outside of Di Lorenzo. Puts a ball in, volleyed away by Romani on the 6-yard line. Into the sky it goes, headed inside by Zielinski. Finds Anguissa. Forward towards Osimhen, who heads it on towards Kvaratskhelia. Volleyed away by Ndicka on halfway. And then brought down by Juan Jesus for Napoli as he launches it forward. It's a high one. It's one that's dealt with by Ndicka. Brings it down nicely and plays it out to the left-hand side to El Shaarawy. Who goes inside to Cristante. Then forward to Pellegrini, the goal scorer, with that right foot. It's a fantastic one. There's just a challenge late there on the halfway line by Anguissa on Azmoun for Roma, the Iranian forward who's yet to start for Roma. Does have the one goal in the league, and that came in early November against Lecce. And he was the one brought down there late by Anguissa. But what a strike that is from Lorenzo Pellegrini on the turn, right hand side of the goal. It's not top right, it's not bottom right, it's like right in the middle of the goal. Beautiful finish from Pellegrini. A man born in Rome, came through the Rome Academy. Had a 2-year spell away from the club at Sassuolo from 2015 to 2017 as Lukaku's been played through, and the shot at the near post is well saved by Merritt. He tried to lift it over the goalkeeper there, Lukaku, and if he'd gone for power, that might have gone in. And that's another chance for Roma to double the lead, and it's not been taken. Great ball through by Cristante. Got it away from Juan Jesus. It was on the angle, and with Lukaku's power, you feel like he's just got to blast that. And it nearly did scoop over Merritt, but he was just able to get a left arm up there to save. But it is a Roma corner on this near side. And it'll be the goal scorer Pellegrini to take it. It'll be a right-footed in-swinger. Thanks to everyone who stuck around for this live commentary of Roma against Napoli in the Serie, the derby of the sun as it's called in Italy. As the ball goes in from Pellegrini, punched by Merritt, out to the edge of the box, controlled by Azmoun, but can't get away from Cajuste. He plays it forward to Zerbin. His pass is weak, and Cristante fires from afar. I think it comes off a Roma man and then out for a goal kick there. But we know Cristante can hit him. His first goal of the season is Empoli in a 7-0 home win. He scored an absolute cracker of a goal in the second half. As before, it said that Napoli's number 59 came on. Alessandro Zanoli. That didn't happen. The only two changes for Napoli have been Zerbin and Cajuste. It does look like they're ready in a triple change, Napoli, as Zielinski's driving forward on the left-hand side. Plays it inside towards Osimhen in the box. It just goes behind the Nigerian, and El Shaarawy can break away. Brought down by Osimhen, who's been booked already, and it's a second red card for Napoli. It's their number 9, Victor Osimhen, with the red card, and I cannot believe he's been sent off on the day where a new contract for him was announced. He's seen red, the man in blue. El Shaarawy's breaking away. Just clips him from behind. He's not stopping a clear counter-attack. There's plenty of bodies back. This referee's been so yellow card happy. I don't think it's a red. I don't think the first one was a yellow. I don't think that second one was a yellow. And 2 games ago, Roma were playing against Fiorentina. They went down to 9 men. Now 2 games later, it's not Roma with 9 men. It's the opposition. It's Napoli who've gone down to 9 men. Their star man, Victor Osimhen, goes out of the game with a red card. It's his 3rd in a Napoli shirt. So Osimhen and Politano have both been red carded here tonight at Roma. And like I say, I just think it's 2 very cheap yellows. I just don't think... I think both of them are just free kicks. The first one was a little bit of a shove on Llorente, and he obviously went absolutely flying. And then that one was just a little, just a little trip on El Shaarawy. Maybe that one's a yellow, possibly, but he's not stopping a counter-attack where El Shaarawy's gone on his own. I don't know. So Napoli triple change. They're going to make it. Kvaratskhelia is going to be replaced here by number 81, Giacomo Raspadori, who spent last season on loan from Sassuolo, and then he joined on a permanent this season for €30 million. Juan Jesus comes off here for Nathan, Brazilian defender, also brought in the summer from Brazil. He's also been sent off this season, Nathan, against AC Milan in late October. And then Zielinski will come off here for Gianluca Gaetano, 23-year-old midfielder, number 70 for Roma. Looks like he'll be playing on the right-hand side here. So Roma 1-0 up. Napoli down to 9 men. Politano sent off first of all, after a kick-out on Zielinski. And then Osimhen sent off for 2 bookable offences, according to the referee, after fouls on Llorente and El Shawari. And if somehow Roma don't see these 3 points out, then they have really only got themselves to blame. As on the edge of the 18-yard box is with their central centre-half, Diego Llorente. He goes forward here to Pellegrini, the current match winner. Back to Indica. Forward with a right-footed clearance. It's a high one. It's a long one. It finds El Shawari, who brings it down. Beautiful ball. Tries to get on the inside there. Nicely done. He clips it out to the right-hand side. Zeki Celik's bombing forward. The wing-back can't bring it down. Goes out for a goal kick there. It was well played there at the first time of asking there from El Shawari, who brought it down nicely on his 275th appearance in the Serie for Stefan El Shawari, who's back at Roma for his second stint after joining in January 2021 after leaving China. He was at Roma previously from 2016 to 2019. And the Roma have already got the ball back in their own half with Cristante. Goes back to their goalkeeper, Rui Patricio, who might be making his second clean sheet here against Napoli. Both of them at home. The other one was back in the 2020-2021 season. As it'll be Roma to see this game out now. 1 minute of the 90 to play. It's in their own half. On this near side of Indica. Closed down by Raspadori. So squares it to his right to Llorente. Mancini. Bove, who had 2 chances in the first half to put Roma on 0 up. Looks like he won't have to think about them tonight as he goes to sleep, as the club captain Pellegrini is the one to get them ahead. Midway side of the Napoli half now. It's with Lukaku, who receives the ball. Plays it to Azmoun. First time ball over the top. In the box. It falls to Pellegrini as he's met by Merritt. Good goalkeeping. Keep it away from him. And the flag goes up for offside, but play will continue. As it's Napoli on the ball. Tackled there, Cayuste, by Bove. There'll be a throw-in for the away side. Midway inside their own half here, where referees pausing play here from the throw-in. For some reason, no idea why. And we've got 4 minutes of added on time here at the Stadio Olimpico, where Roma are looking for their first win against Napoli in 8. It's a fixture they don't usually fancy or favour, but they've got the upper hand tonight. As it's back with Roma again. Napoli just can't keep this ball with 9 men. Midway inside the Roma half is with Llorente. To his left here to Indica. Back to Llorente again. Closed down by Raspadori. Moves it to his right here to Mancini. High ball over the top. Down the right hand side. Zeki Celik. What a touch that is. Into his path. Into space. 2 shoots. Oh, he's been forced wide. Good defending there by Zerbin. The Napoli winger. But Zeki Celik still got it here, outside the 18-yard area. Roma have got bodies forward, but so have Napoli got bodies back. And they go all the way back through Cristante to the halfway line to Llorente. It is Roma's game to lose. They are just trying to kill the clock here, as they are on halfway with Lorenzo Pellegrini, who scored his second goal tonight of the season in the league. It's his 46th as a Roma player. As here he is on the ball, driving forward and playing it through to El Shawari, in behind, in the box, 1-on-1. Can he finish? He squares, he tries to. Good foot out there by Merritt. It clears to Azmoun on the edge of the 18-yard box. This play's been stopped here as Nathan stays down holding his shoulder here. It's a great ball through by Pellegrini, and El Shawari's got to score. But instead of shooting, he tried to square it to Lukaku, who was free in the box. And he was free in the box because he pulled back Nathan. And the play was eventually paused for the Brazilian defender to just recover if possible. But technically, El Shawari has got the assist for that Pellegrini goal. He was the one who tried to shoot on the edge of the box, but he completely miscued it. He ended up kicking it about 5 yards forward, and it just kept bouncing. And like I say, instead of Pellegrini controlling it and taking it down, he just hit it while it was bouncing up in the air, latched onto it beautifully. And he's the reason why Roma are winning. And he is the reason why Roma are going up to 6th place in the league and going above Napoli. Nathan, the substitute, has stayed down here with this shoulder problem, which has occurred after the contact from Romelu Lukaku. Lukaku probably won't score tonight, but he's in great scoring form this season for Roma. Scored 5 in 6 in the Europa League. He only failed to score in 1 game in the Europa League group stages. He also got 14 goals in 8 qualifiers for Belgium. As it looks like Nathan, the Brazilian defender, can't continue. He may have dislocated or pulled out his shoulder here. So Napoli might end this game with 8 men on the pitch. Merritt clears it from that free kick given. And Gisa flicks it on towards Raspadori, headed away by Ndicka. Helped away by Bove to the halfway line to Lukaku, who holds it up against Cayuste and nods it backwards to Cristante. Then forward and in behind towards Celik, who will chase it, but he can't get there ahead of Cayuste. And he'll be slide tackled out for a throw-in for Roma in the final third on the far side. As if Nathan doesn't come back on with his shoulder injury, Napoli are playing with 8. 2 red cards from Politano and Osimhen. And then Nathan, the substitute's gone off with a shoulder injury. Yeah, I don't think he's come back on. Just goes from bad to worse here for Napoli under Walter Mazzarri as the throw into Lukaku. Goes back to Bove. Now to Celik towards the corner flag. Tackle by Zerbin. Last touch off Celik. Throwing for Napoli deep inside their own half on the far side. It's Anguissa with it. Into the midfield to Cayuste. Back to Anguissa in a left-back position. We've played the 4 minutes added on. We play a bit extra as the Anguissa ball is short. Picked up here by Pellegrini. Inside to Bove. He loses out though, but then he wins it back off Cayuste. And then he loses it again to Romani, who's then tripped by Bove. It'll be a free kick for Napoli. And it's poked away by Azmoun, who will receive a yellow card for kicking the ball away. Plenty of yellow cards in this game. 7 for Roma. 2 for Napoli. And then 2 red cards for the away side as well. Absolutely bonkers game in this derby of the sun as Merritt sends it forward. Headed away by Cristante. And helped away by Bove. Drops to Lukaku. Can't get away from Romani on halfway. It's now with Zerbin on the left-hand side for Napoli. Tackled by Celik. Taken quickly. Romani on the left-hand side for Napoli. Finds Zerbin. Through to Romani. Back to goal. Finds Anguissa. Dribbles away from Cristante. Anguissa on the left-hand side in the final third. Finds Romani. Tackled by Azmoun, but it drops forward here. Romani on the edge. Lays it off. Di Lorenzo. Can he work space for a shot? He tries it. It deflects. It's headed away by Ndicka. And it will drop loose to El Shawari. And it's 4v1. Lukaku on the right. Out to the left to Ndicka. He's got a choice onto his right. He'll square it. Through to Lukaku again. He touches. He shoots it. And he scores it. And Lukaku wraps up the 3 points. It's Roma 2, Napoli 0. Lukaku does get his goal in the end. And after a 1-2 with Ivan Ndicka, Lukaku doubles Roma's lead. And against 8-man Napoli, Jose Mourinho gets his side the 3 points. It's Lukaku's 8th of the season in the Serie. It's his 13th in 20 games in all competitions. And Roma are picking up their first win against Napoli since November 2019. They were caught on the break. Di Lorenzo's shot was headed away by Ndicka. It dropped to El Shawari, who found Lukaku. Then out to Ndicka on the left. And he had plenty of options in the box. He got it back to the far post to Lukaku, who took one touch and then a second to get beyond the Napoli man. And that Napoli man was Raspadori. And he struck it right towards the near post. Too much power on it for Alex Merritt in the Napoli goal. It's what Lukaku's known for that powerful left foot of his. And that left foot has brought Roma their second goal. It's 3 points. And it's Roma 2, Napoli 0. Like I say, it was 4v1 at the start of that counter-attack. And it ended with the goal. As that was right at the end of the game. So how are we going to continue? We haven't. We're not going to continue. We're getting no more kickoffs here. That's where the referee's blown full time. That was the last kick of the game from Romelu Lukaku. And what an intense and crazy second half that was. So much to dissect. The first real bit of action in the second half came in the 66th minute where Matteo Politano, the former Roma youth man, the man born in Rome, was sent off. He was pulled back, Politano, by Zalewski, the Roma wing-back. And in a retaliation, Politano kicked out at Zalewski and got himself sent off. And that completely changed the tide of the game. Mourinho saw that red card and made his attacking changes. He brought on the likes of El Shaarawy, Pellegrini and Azmoun, and that made the difference. 5 minutes after coming on, Lorenzo Pellegrini in the 76th minute made it 1-0. The ball dropped to him in the box. The ball was bouncing. He hit it on the half volley into the right-hand side of the goal. No chance for Alex Meret, who was stood still in the goal. Didn't even make an attempt to save it. That's how clever the shot was. He didn't even expect it to be hit. And Lorenzo Pellegrini, off the bench, gets his second of the season in Serie A. It wasn't the only red card we got. We got a second in the 86th minute. Victor Osimhen, with 2 yellow card offences deemed by the referee, meant that he was sent his marching orders. That was his third red card now for Napoli, for Victor Osimhen, on the day that he announced his new 3-year contract with Napoli. And that meant the away side finished with 9 men, and it was even worse. They finished with 8 men on the pitch. Lukaku causing a shoulder injury for the Brazilian defender Nathan. So for the last couple minutes, it was Napoli with 8 men after they'd used all 5 substitutes. And that meant on a counter-attack, when a De Lorenzo shot was cleared for Roma, it was 4v1 on the counter-attack. Indika was found on the left-hand side by Lukaku. He then got it across into the far post, back to Romelu Lukaku, who took 1 touch to get set, another touch to move away from Raspadori, and he slammed it into the bottom right corner, and it gave Roma a 2-0 lead, and that was the last kick of the game. And it ends here at the Stadio Olimpico in the Derby of the Sun. Roma 2, Napoli 0. What a game that was. I really enjoyed that. Don't get me wrong, sometimes the Serie A needs to cut out its play acting and the way they go down after every little foul. But on the whole, as a derby, as a spectacle, I think that was really entertaining. There was about 100 yellow cards. Both managers were yellow carded in the first half. We got 2 red cards. You know, I think Roma picked up 7 yellow cards in the end. Roma picked up 7 yellow cards in the end. Napoli with 2 yellow cards and the 2 red cards. 5 cards if you include the manager. Absolutely crazy. That is the definition of a derby. And it's Roma who've come out on top. It's their first win in 8 against Napoli. It ends a run of 2 wins on the bounce after Napoli did the league double over Roma last season in their league winning season. And it's finally Roma who have got the the bragging rights. They'll be the ones who can laugh in the faces of the Napoli supporters, whose season is going from bad to worse. They've won their first league in 33 years last season, and they're now all the way down in 7th on 27 points. They are now 17 points off first place Inter Milan. 17 points off. That is absolutely ridiculous for Napoli. They have really, fell down the league table, and I don't think anyone will fair play in them now. And Roma, who are good at home as well, we've mentioned it a couple of times, that's now 1 loss in 9 home games at home for Roma, so it shows that at home they come out, they come through, they perform and they pick up results. And if Roma just work on their away results, then top 4 they can definitely aim for. Currently battling with Bologna, AC Milan, Bologna, Fiorentina and Napoli for that 3rd and 4th place spot. And if they, like I say, if they can keep up their home form the way it is, with not losing, and if they can just clean up their away form and pick up a few more wins and not lose as many away from home, then I think Jose Mourinho's side has got a very fair shot at top 4 come the end of the season. And thank you to everyone who listened on this Saturday night, right before Christmas. It is the last commentary before Christmas. I hope everyone has a great Christmas. We've got 4 more coming, though, before the new year. So make sure you check them out. They'll be scheduled on the channel tonight. So make sure you check them out in the next upcoming days. But for this live stream, it's the end of the live commentary here at the Stadio Olimpico. And for Roma, despite coming up against 9 men, they were able to get over the line here in the Derby of the Sun. Napoli fall to a rare defeat to Roma. Roma go home the happy side. They move up the table. They started the weekend in 8th. They're now up to 6th. And at the Stadio Olimpico here, between Roma and Napoli, ends Roma 2, Napoli 0.